All right, we're live. Welcome to episode 16 of the Pro Go Baduk Weiqi podcast. This is Xiao Dai, and we have
Gaza.
Gaza. All right, Gaza. This is another pack week, but not as packed as next week, I think. So let's get going. So first up, I think there's gonna be a fairly Europe heavy week
Was that?
because we have the European Go Congress happening.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice.
very nice. And probably on the top right hand corner of the screen, you can't see it, Gaza, because it's only on my stream. I'm showing the European Championship 2022 quarterfinal happening as we speak. It's commentated by Ilya Shikshin, so it'll still be on when you probably see this podcast. So go check it out on Twitch. Um, so first up, I believe the European PandaNet Go Team Championship happened, or the final of that championship, the team championship, happened during the Go Congress, and it was won by Ukraine over 4 rounds. I think 4 teams participated in the final. Now, did you even hear much about this competition, the team championship?
I heard nothing about this competition. I didn't even know it was on.
Right. So I believe they have
Is
a
there a website for it?
yeah. So you're looking at the website right now. This is the PandaNet.
You're
Go.
not showing anything, mate.
Oh, um, how about now?
You you're not sharing your screen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's everyone else can see it except for
Now you
you.
are.
Yeah. Now
Now
you can
you
see
are.
it. Yeah.
Now I
Uh,
can see it. Yes.
this is the website. It's on the PandaNet website, and so basically, I believe they run a league got the European Team Championship. It's got like a few divisions like League A, League B, League C, League D, and
Oh wow.
I believe the top 4 teams in League A play in the final. So the top 4 teams are France, Ukraine, Chechnya, and Poland. So these 4 teams they play in the final, which happened during the European Go Congress. And let's see if I can quickly look at the names of the players to see if anyone I recognize. Oh, they even have the player profiles for each of the players. Of course, Artem Kachanovsky is a pro player from Ukraine. Andrei Kravitz is also a pro player from Ukraine. And for France, Tanguy, I believe, is a pro player. Dai Junfo is a very strong player, of course.
Is
Yeah, so
Daijun a pro player?
I don't think so. I think his rank is meant to be 8 Dan. No,
Where's is Fan Hui playing?
I don't think so. Maybe no.
Oh wait, can you go up to number 3?
Yeah,
Thomas DeBar.
yeah,
I think he visited Sydney many
yeah.
years ago.
We played a couple of games with him in the Sydney Go Club. So
Yeah, I think before I joined.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he used to come to the Sydney Go Club. So yeah, very nice guy. And then this is the Chechnya team. Of course, Lucas. I recognize the name. Must be a famous player.
Yeah, I think Lucas was the he was the finalist in the latest European Pro qualifier.
Right,
He was the runner-up.
right. Yeah. So he almost made it. So um,
Yes.
yeah. So and of course in Poland we have I don't know how to say it, but Mateusz Suma. He's pro.
Oh, Matthias Surma. He participated in one of the Australian Go Congresses as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't remember. Of course, Stanislaw Frajek is also a pro. I believe he runs a
Yeah,
go
well, he
school.
was the guy that beat Lucas
Yeah,
to become the latest European
I do
pro.
believe he does run a go school in Germany. I'm not sure. Maybe he does. Can't be sure now. But anyway, that's the teams. If you are interested in the detail, check it out. But what happened was Ukraine won, and I believe it just happened over 3 rounds, with just a single round robin. So Ukraine beat Poland 3-1, and Ukraine beat Chechnya 4-0, and Ukraine drew with France 2-2, so they got the most points. So they won the European Team Championship. Yay. I believe the only website that kind of reported on it is the International Go Federation or on Facebook. So, and that's, I think there's a
How did
couple.
how did UK do?
How did I?
The UK, the United Kingdom.
Oh, let's check which league they're in. I'm really not sure. So UK, they are. I did not spot their names.
I think they're in League B.
Oh, League B. Oh yeah, UK. Oh, they came bottom. Yeah, okay. Oh wow.
Oh, last. Wait,
Oh
is that
wow.
South Africa in eighth?
Yep, South Africa.
They're not actually European, that.
By the way, Australia is also not in Europe. They're in Eurovision. So just so you know.
Okay.
Hey, this country, Israel. I don't think they're in Europe.
Israel is a contentious. Israel's contentious. I mean, Israel competes in the Euros, and also Ali Jabarin is he's a
European pro.
he was the second ever European professional.
Right.
So
Yeah. So there you go.
Israel is considered part of Europe
For
in many different things.
yeah.
There's no was there only 9 teams in League A?
Yeah, we do believe, we all know what happened to Russia, Team Russia. So they
Well,
got
wait, what happened to Team Russia?
they got excluded from League A. They also
Oh,
they also
Russia's been excluded because yes, the
yeah,
European Go Federation made a decision to
suspend them.
exclude, yes, suspend Russia and Belarus
Right. Yeah. So that's
indefinitely
yeah,
from
that's probably
the.
what happened. Yeah. So I believe Belarus was originally in League D, perhaps, so they were also excluded. So, hey, that's what happened. But so that's the European team championship. That's a little bit of an appetizer for you, because what happened next is the European Championship. Now this is a 32 player competition, and a mix of pros and amateurs play in it. And I believe they also have a winners bracket and a losers bracket. And I believe how it
Oh
works.
wait, so it's double elimination.
It's not exactly double elimination. I believe how it works is the winners bracket. If you finish, if you make it to the top 4 of the winners bracket, then you qualify for the quarterfinal of the competition. And then in the losers bracket, you also have to survive in the losers bracket until there's 4 players left. Then you also make the quarterfinal. And from the quarterfinal onward, it's straight knockout. So it's not exactly double elimination.
Oh, okay.
So it's a bit odd in a way. But so let's quickly look at the how they do. Now this one is recorded on the European Go Federation website. It's right here. So it's a European Championship. So let's look at what happened. I'll just point out a couple of results. I can't find the Kifu. So they're not just not on this website. Maybe they're on the Congress website, whatever it may be. But yeah, so this is the field of the 32 players. Okay, I believe they're seeded. Just to pick out some interesting results for you. Tanguy, he's the pro from France. So he got knocked out by Frederick, who is still technically amateur, but obviously very, very strong. You see, he also knocked out Lucas, which we talked about just then. So yeah, so he's extremely strong. And what happened is so therefore Tanguy ended up in the losers bracket, which is here. You see that he progressed a bit further up into the losers bracket, and in the final game lost to Oscar Vasquez. I believe Oscar was also in the most recent European Pro qualification.
I believe he was, yes.
Yeah. So he knocked Tanguy out. So Tanguy is the only pro to have entered the European Championship round of 32 to get knocked out so far. So he lost to 2 amateurs. So I guess they're technically amateurs, but I guess they're really, really strong. And the other interesting result was that you see here, Andrei Kravets, the pro from Ukraine, he got knocked out by Stanislaw Fajek. So he also ended up in the losers bracket, but he actually made it out into the losers bracket. So he got to the top 4. So the top 4 in the losers bracket were Nikola Mitic, Oscar Vasquez, Andrei Kravets, and Ben-Jean Guinizia. Okay. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Apologies. I probably butchered it completely. But hey. Okay, so these are the 4 players from the losers bracket. And from the winners bracket, we have your usual suspects. Artem, Stanislaw, Alejandro, and of course Frederick we talked about. So these 8 players are in the quarterfinal. These are the quarterfinalists. I do believe it's a straight knockout from this point onwards. Of course, the people who in the losers bracket had to play more games to make it, but yeah, this is what's happened. So the quarterfinal is basically happening as we speak. I'm actually looking at the stream on my other screen. So yeah, so that's the European Championship. Is there anything you want to comment?
I do have one question. Where's
Yeah.
Pavlisi?
Pavlisi. I really don't think he participated for some reason. Nor is Ilya Shikshin in it. So
Yes,
I'm not sure.
but Ilya Shikshin's not in it because Russia, because of the
Right.
suspension from the EGF. But Pavlisi is not Russian. I believe he is Slovakian.
Or Czech.
I believe he's Slovakian.
Right. Okay.
So he wouldn't be under any sanctions.
No. So I honestly am not sure. I haven't
Yeah.
really
Also,
followed.
Mateusz Surma
Yeah.
from the Polish player, he's not there. But I've noticed he doesn't participate in it. Like, I don't think he's a full-time player
Right.
at the moment. Like, I think he does a lot of teaching and writing and stuff like that. Doesn't play in all the tournaments.
Right.
But Pavel, Lucy, I guess I'm not really too sure the activities of the European players, but I would have expected them to play in the European Championships, but maybe not.
Yeah. Well, it didn't happen, so I didn't really look too much into it. But that's really what's happened. I'm still pretty excited, pretty interested to see.
So who do you
wins.
think's going to win then?
I guess it would be kind of Artem. I was watching the Chinese Weiqi Association stream, so they, for whatever reason they decided to stream the European Go Championship. So they have pro commentators. So one of the commentators I really like, Li Jie, he's a great player, very creative player. He commented on the quality of the games and who he thought were the strongest players. So he had lots of good things to say about Artem's games, and he also said good things about Ali Jabran. So I would imagine these two are the favorites. And they
were the two I would have considered the favorites before the tournament
right
started. I mean, they're two of the most accomplished European players of the last 10 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at by ratings points, of course, Ilya Shikshin is still the highest, but then Artem would be the second. Pavlisi is missing. Not sure what happened to Mateusz Surma. Ali Jabran would be fifth in terms of rating point, would be the highest out of the player who's.
Yeah, but that's just but I mean that's just pros, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, you've also got the amateur players as well that you need to consider. But I guess that, it's hard to look past Artem and Ali.
Yeah, I imagine because out of the 8 players there, 4 of them are pros. I imagine it's more likely than not that one of the pros would win. So yeah.
We shall see, I guess.
We shall see. It's gonna.
When is the?
I believe it happens
final in a couple of days. Or?
Yeah, it should be consecutive. So if this is today, then it'll take only 2 more days to determine the finalists. So I'm not sure if they have a rest day. I can't remember, but it says here that the European Championship finishes on the 31st. This is the 29th. So I guess they will just play straight. No rest days.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Not sure if I'll be able to watch it because of the time zone, but hopefully we get some Kifus as well. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Maybe I'll spend some time looking for the Kifus, but
maybe we can look at the Kifu of the final next podcast. But
I think some of them should be recorded because it's broadcast on the IBK Weiqi platform as well. So yeah,
Well, I imagine if there are Chinese commentators commentating over it, then surely there's got to be some sort of record of the games.
yeah, should be. Okay, so where
Yeah.
shall we go to next? Shall we go to the big one, which I think is the Gosei?
Well, no. I think
Yeah,
I just want to make a slight detour and say that
yep.
Pro Weiqi subreddit has reached 900
900. This is crazy.
members.
This is crazy.
900 absolute legends following
Legend.
professional Weiqi and Baduk and Go.
Yeah,
And I think to celebrate
yep,
900 members, we
yeah,
should
yeah.
take a preview of the upcoming Jia League.
Oh my God, that's right. That's one of the possibly the worst segue because it's a bit forced, but it's let's actually look at the Jia League. What's happened?
I've been looking forward to the release of the Jia League
yeah,
rosters,
yeah, yeah. Me too.
and they came out a couple of days ago,
Yeah,
and yeah, I really want to go over them.
yeah. Let's do that. This is a big one. Absolute massive. So, Jia League, of course, is the first division of
And when does it
professional.
start? When does it start
It's
this year?
it's the opening ceremony is on the 2nd of August, but the game starts on the 3rd of August, as far as I know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it's gonna be the first stage will be 8 rounds. So they will play, I believe, over 9 days, 8 rounds, something like that.
Oh, that's condensed.
Yeah, that's very condensed. So it's a team competition. So you can't just rely on individual brilliance. You kind of have to have decent teammates as well. And basically, the format is this: there's 16 teams participating in the competition. So they play in a single round robin for 15 rounds. Each time the teams play, they will put out 4 players. Okay, so it's 4 versus 4, and one of the 4 players is designated the main player, right? And the main players have to play each other, and the main player comes into play when if they have a 2-2 draw. If they have a 2-2 draw, then the team whose main player won gets 1 extra point. Now the point system works like this: because it's a 4 versus 4. In the case where a team wins 3-1 or 4-0, then the winning team gets 3 points. Of course, the losing team gets 0 points. And in the case of a draw, this is when where the main player comes in. In the case of a draw, a 2-2 draw, the team whose main player won will get 2 points instead of 1 point. Of course, then the other team gets 1 point. So the impact of the main player it can be quite huge because you just get an extra point out of a 2-2 situation. So of course, usually the main player is the one that the person that gets paid the most. So that's
There is one specific rule though,
yeah.
in that imports can't play each other.
Yes. Except in as most things in China, I do notice that the imports from Taiwan can meet imports from Korea, so maybe they don't consider players from Taiwan imports.
Yes,
For
but I
reasons.
believe there was an example where Iyama Yuta
Yeah.
was playing Hangzhou
Right.
in Hangzhou.
Yeah.
So Iyama Yuta's team was playing Shin Jinseo's team,
Yeah.
and apparently Iyama wanted to play Shin Jinseo,
Yeah.
but because they're both imports, it wasn't allowed. They weren't allowed to play each other.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's that could have happened. We're really not sure, but maybe they should. If this Jia League develops into a proper, North Asian league, then they should just allow imports to play imports because it's just a good competition. But yeah, the rule is that they don't allow imports to play and each other as of now. So, but anyway, let's look at the key roster, the roster for Jia League 2022.
Yes.
So now the order in which I list the teams is by the order in which they have done the draws. So they did a draw and each team gets assigned a number, and this number determines who you play in each round. And it does matter because from round 9 to I believe 9 to 15, it's going to be in the format of a home and away format. So there's a home team and an away team. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but so it kind of does matter because you could get a little bit of advantage by getting more home games or something, depending on your number. But that's how the team ordering came about. It's not by alphabetical. It's just the whatever number came out of the draw. So I think the draw happened is done such that in round 1 plays 2 and 3 plays 4th and so on and so forth. So we already know which teams are going to play which team in the first round. So okay, first up, Hangzhou, last year's grand champion. They came second in the regular season, but you would consider them one of the strongest teams, if not the strongest. Gaza.
Yes, absolutely. Well, they do have the best player in the world,
Best player,
in
yeah.
Shin Jinseo,
Jinseo.
and they have a stacked team on all 4 boards.
Yeah.
Liang Zhao,
Yeah.
Very strong Chinese player in top 10 in the official rankings.
Yeah.
Sheke, 2-time world major finalist.
Yeah.
Li Cheng, former Asian TV Cup champion.
Yep.
And he's typically their player on the fast board.
Yep.
So, and obviously, I mean, this is the exact same team they had last year. Those 4 players, and they won the entire thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be difficult to beat them again. Again, to have strong players on all 4 boards is huge advantage.
Yeah.
And yeah, they'll definitely be one of the favorites. I think it would be a disappointment if they didn't finish in the top 3 in the regular season. Yeah.
Although I mean, like last season, they were just as strong last season, but they didn't come first in the regular season. So
well, they may not come first, but I would say that Liang Zhao didn't have the best season.
No. So yeah,
even then they still came second, and that was enough. No one really cares if you get the most points in the regular season if there's a playoffs.
Yeah.
Because you have to win the playoffs, and they did that, so they did enough to get into the playoffs and win.
Yeah. Yeah, of course they actually won in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I wouldn't. I'm not sure if I would consider them to be the favorites this year. But once again, Shin Jinseo, I mean, his form is just as good this year as it was last year.
Yep.
There's no reason to think that he's going to lose a lot of games.
No.
So it's almost like he's the closest that you have to a guaranteed win on any board.
Yeah.
In any team, and that's a huge advantage. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Yeah, some people might consider them the favorites. They're pretty close to the favorites, but yeah, it's a very strong team. They're going to win most of their matches.
Yeah. So I mean, I did just check out the top 10 underperformance last year, and we have as you said, Len Xiao's had a pretty terrible season. So this is the top 10 underperformance. Len Xiao ranked number 1 in the regular season.
Yeah, he had 7 wins from 15 games. That's for a top 10 player in China.
Yeah.
To win less than 50% of your games is that's pretty poor, especially considering that I don't think he played on as the top board, as the main player for any of those games. Maybe one.
Yeah.
Because Shin Jinseo was the main board every time he played.
Yep, correct.
So he wasn't even playing the main player of the opposition, and he still lost half more than half of his games. That is pretty disappointing.
Yeah.
And despite that, despite having a player that underperformed that much, they still came second in the regular season.
Yeah.
Which just shows you how deep their team is. They can afford to have one of their players having a poor season and still easily make the playoffs.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. So now Len Xiao and Xie are both still in the top 10 in China. So it's a very, very, and Li Qingcheng is in the top 20, sometimes maybe near the top 10. So
and in
strong.
fast games he'd be top 10 in China. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, it's a very, very good team.
Yeah. They have the highest average top 4 rating. But then the other two players I probably haven't heard too much about. Apparently Li Haotong is a widely recognized as a great player, but up and coming. So let's see what happens. But not going to see much game time.
The thing is, I don't expect Li Haotong or Wang Tao to be playing that many games. I do believe Shin Jinseo missed one round.
Only one round, yeah.
Last year.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't expect Lian Zhao, Shirker, or Li Qingcheng to miss any rounds.
Yep.
And if Shin Jinseo does miss any rounds, it'll be like at most 2 rounds, I would say.
Yeah.
So I don't think Li Haotong and Wang Tao are really going to be playing many games.
No. They're just more squad player.
Yeah, it's always good to have a squad, to have reserves.
Yeah.
Yeah. In case something insane happens, like one of the players could catch COVID or something like that. So
yeah.
I guess there's always that. But you
that.
can't really for a team that strong, you can't really have good players as your 5th and 6th player because you can't really have good players who are probably not going to be playing any games.
Yeah, and they probably try to get transfer so they get more game time.
Yeah, they would just transfer to a team where they can play. So.
Yeah. Okay, so coming second in the draw is Hangzhou Dragon, their sister team. So Hangzhou Dragon, again, they're probably going to. I believe last year they came 3rd or 4th, one of them in the regular season.
I believe actually, weren't they runner-up? Weren't they the team that lost in the grand final?
Yeah, they lost in the. I can't remember either the final or semi-final, but they
did lose. They did lose in the final because Shin Jinseo. It was Shin Jinseo against Ding Hao for the championship.
Right, yeah. And I do believe Ding Hao wrote a fairly emotional Weibo after the loss. Something about, how hard do I have to try to, beat to get good results, meaning to beat Shin Jinseo or something. But that's another story. Okay, I
think they came 5th in the regular season.
Right, so just in the top half to make. So they had a pretty tough campaign. But anyway, looking at the roster this year, now obviously they still have Ding Hao. That's still pretty strong. And they brought in Beng Sang-il from Beijing. So Beng Sang-il was turning out for Beijing last year. Had a pretty decent record, I believe.
He had a very good.
Yeah.
He was one of the. He was perhaps the best import.
Right.
Last season.
Yeah.
In the regular season.
Right.
That is.
Yeah. Of course, he's rated very, very highly. In 3.6, so that would be easily world top 10. And then you have Jeong Yujin, which probably not many people have heard about, but he had some really great results. This is a name I'll be watching because he's still very young. I believe only around 18, 19, and he had like a 50% record in the Jia League last year. So very young and doing quite well. But I would say after the top 3, the rest are like maybe I haven't really heard too much about, so probably not expecting much from them. And of course, Lee Dong-hoon, that he turned out for Hangzhou Dragon last year, but he's not coming.
Yeah, so that sort of really, I do believe it was 2 weeks ago where we commented and discussed Lee Dong-hoon's sort of indirect retirement.
Yeah.
From Baduk, and this sort of confirms it, the fact that he's not playing in the Jia League.
Yeah.
That really because we were wondering if he still, if he was still under contract.
Yeah,
But yeah, the fact that he's clearly not in the Jia League,
yeah,
it really confirms that. While he hasn't officially retired, he hasn't left the KBA.
no,
More or less, his Baduk career is finished, unless he changes his mind.
yeah, yeah, and let's see what happens. But
But yeah, I will say that the other three players there, Ding Hao, Jin Yu Cheng,
mm,
and Jia Cheng Kun, they were all in the team last year.
right,
So like they and Lee Dong Hoon, it's essentially Lee Dong Hoon has been replaced by Byun
yeah,
Sang Il.
yeah,
So this team is good enough to come fifth
yeah,
in the regular season and make the grand final.
yeah.
So
So what?
despite the fact that Jin Yu Cheng and Jia Chen Kun are not, superstars,
No, mm,
they they were still a very good team
yeah,
last year, and yeah, no reason to think that they won't make the playoffs this year.
yeah, yeah. I think they will be definitely top 8, which means they will make the playoffs. And of course, Jing Yucheng, he's rising, but he may not. He just may not perform as well as last year. I mean, it could happen. Of course, these two are in the prime of their careers, so we're a fairly strong team. But I think the top 4 average about 7th in the league in terms of average ratings. Okay, now to the third team, which is Chengdu. Chengdu, I believe last year they did fairly well. They had Park Jun-hwan in the team, which is have transferred out to another team, which we'll talk about. But they
Well,
brought in
yeah,
Fan Tingyu.
I mean, yeah, Chengdu actually came first in the
Yeah,
regular season
yeah,
last year. They had all four of their players had
mm,
outstanding performances.
yeah,
Um, it looks like Park Chun-wan has been replaced by Fan Ting-yu,
yeah,
um, who, of course, first made his name by defeating Park Chun-wan in the In Cup.
that's right. Yeah,
I think 10 years ago now.
yeah,
Um, yeah, Dang Yifei,
yeah,
he's been around a while, but he had a great Jar League last year.
yeah,
Yao Wan He,
yeah,
young player, had a great Jar League last year,
yeah,
and Tu Zhao Yu, an even younger player, also had a great Jar League
yeah,
last year.
yeah. So
And this is a pretty good team for depth.
pretty solid.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I would say it's a fairly, a good mix of youth and experience.
yeah,
Um, it's yeah, this is another that this team is surely a shoe in for the playoffs.
yeah,
And yeah, it's like I'm not sure that this could be a dark horse team. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, the only difference last year was they had Park Chun One instead of Fan Ting Yu, and they
yeah,
easily topped the regular season.
yeah.
So
But I think one thing maybe to take into account is that Deng Yifei is I think he was studying at university and he's like 29, so starting to maybe show his age maybe, but not not
yeah,
really sure.
well, who knows? His university studies may have hindered his Weiqi focus,
Yeah,
but we shall see.
we shall see. So and anyway, they expected to finish in the top 3 or 4. They're still very strong team. And then of
Yes.
course Jiangsu, which had this was rumored to be disbanded. They couldn't find sponsorship. In Jiangsu is one of the richest provinces in China. So, but the rumors were actually not true. They did find sponsorship. I believe they are sponsored now by like one of those parcel delivery companies. But anyway, so they got sponsorship, and of course, heading up the roster for Jiangsu is Mi Yuting, and then you got
Yeah.
solid players like Zhao Chenyu and Huang Yinsong, and then Chen Xian is a decent player, but not outstanding. I believe he's 8th Dan, so pretty strong.
Yeah,
And
this is the exact same team. So those four, that's the exact same team as last year.
yeah,
They finished 6th last year, but
yeah,
Myungin actually, so Myungin was underperformed quite a bit.
yeah,
I think he was under 50%.
yeah. I think he had 6 out of 15, which is terrible for him.
6 out of 15, yeah.
Yeah,
Mind you, he was the main player
yeah,
for most of those games.
yeah,
So he was playing essentially the best player
yeah,
each time.
yeah,
But still, yeah, 6 out of 15 is quite poor.
yeah. But I think last year they didn't have sponsorship, so I don't know if that affected his motivation
Yes.
or not.
But
I don't know.
but like even with that underperformance by Myungin, they still finished 6th in the
Yeah,
regular season.
yeah. So I guess
Um,
Zhao Chenyu is solid. Yeah,
yeah, one notable change is that Yu Ying
yeah,
was in the team last year. She's
yeah.
not this year.
No,
Note that last year she didn't actually play any games,
no.
but technically she was the only woman in the on a Jia League roster last year.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So Jiangsu is still solid, but not expected to win. Um.
I think that they have the same team that made the top 8 last year, so I think
Yeah.
they should make the top 8 again.
Yeah. And now to Jiangxi, who actually won the league just maybe 2 or 3 years ago. 2 years ago maybe. And they had lost a very strong player, which I haven't listed here, but they have lost Xu Jiayang. So the roster has definitely become weaker, and they
They
haven't
lost Yu
replaced
Jin.
and they haven't replaced him with anyone. But they still have a decent team. Of course, Gu Zihao would be leading the charge. Peng Liyao, who's an international title finalist. He's still in the team, but he's I believe he's 31 or 30, or definitely under 33, but somewhere around there. Yang Kai-wan's mid-20s, still pretty young, but solid player, did pretty well last year. And the rest, I can't tell you much about because I haven't
I
really heard
mean,
much about him.
Liu Feng was actually in the team last year, but he was the reserve player.
Right.
And so now the difference is he's now one of the main players.
Yes.
Yeah, he had a 2-2 loss record last year, so he
Right.
didn't play that many. Like he didn't play that many games.
No.
I can. Yeah, it's. I don't know much about him. It's very hard to know if he's good enough to be like. If he's good enough to be like a main board player.
Yeah.
Like a main board player for a top 8 team.
Yeah.
Yeah. This team finished 4th in the regular season last year, but they did have
Xu Jiayang.
they had those 3 players: Peng Liao, Gu Zihao, Yang Kai-wen, and they had Zhu Jiayang.
Yeah.
Who he had a really good season.
Yeah.
So to get rid of him and not really replace him with someone equivalent is surely going to have an effect.
Yeah.
I think they might. This team, I think they should still make the top 8, but
Yeah.
they're a chance of missing out
Yeah.
on the playoffs,
Right.
even though they have Gu Zihao.
Yeah. I mean, just a sign of under investment. Now, speaking about under investment, Beijing is probably the team that's, I would say, have under invested the most. So now let's think about Beijing's roster last year, which included Kerje and Myungin. Okay,
Yes.
neither of them are here, but they have brought in Kim Beomseo. That's it. That's it. So yeah, that's their roster.
You haven't just brought. Well, okay. So Kim Young-hun is, I think he's the best Korean player that wasn't in the Jia League last year.
Yep.
So it's good to see him in the Jia League this year.
Yep.
This isn't actually his first Jia League, by the way. I think he was in the Jia League maybe 3 years ago.
Right.
Where I think he lost more games than he won. Yeah, he went 5-7.
Right.
For Team Jeong Yujin Beijing, Chen Yaoye's team.
Right. Yeah.
But he's back.
Yeah.
And yeah, good to see him back. Yeah, but yeah, he's no Byun Sang-il, and he's definitely no Koje.
Yeah,
Um, I think this team is going to
yeah,
so last year this team I think they finished third
yeah.
in the regular season. Let me quickly check. Yes, they did finish third. I think they may not even make the top eight.
No, and of course
This
I believe they were knocked out in the first round in the playoffs. Uh, I think, but
well,
yeah,
they didn't. They were the first. They got a bye
right,
to like the
yeah,
last six or something like that.
right, yeah, yeah,
Um,
but
but I do just want to point out one more thing. They do have one other player,
yeah,
Hu Zihao. I just want to point him out because he was the guy who we noticed was
yeah,
super stoked um,
yeah,
in the photos
right,
to be playing
yeah,
Weiqi,
yeah,
and so I think I'm not sure if he's going to play any games, but I do hope that he does.
yeah,
Um, be good to see him. It's good to see him in the Jia League.
yeah,
But yeah, it's not a very intimidating team compared to the ones that we've already looked at. I do think that they're going to struggle to make the top
yeah.
eight.
It's gonna be a struggle, and then from underinvestment to very good investment in Shenzhen. They spent big this year probably. So they bought in Kerje and Park Jun Hwan, and they and Shin Min Jun, who was part of Shenzhen, left the team. Left the team, but of course Shin Min Jun is still in the Jia League. We'll talk about it. And then they kept Shi Yue. Lord Shi He can forget about him. It's mostly just a coach. Rong Yi and Tao Xingran. And I think they let go of one of the young players as well, Shi Yu Lai. I don't think he turned up in another Jia League team. So a very, very strong team because they just brought in two of the best players in the world.
Yeah, this is crazy. To see Koje and Park Jun Won, that arguably two of the top three players in the world
Yeah,
on the same team.
yeah,
I mean, that's insane. Like theoretically, Park Jun Won may not play any games as main board,
yeah. I mean, he's likely to, but
and
not sure.
as number three,
Yeah,
like third best player in the world, and he's not playing main board.
yeah,
That's crazy. And but an interesting tidbit that I just want to point out.
yeah.
Koje, I think Koje has only won Jar League once,
Once, I believe, yes.
and that was, let me quickly check. That was 8 years ago,
Yeah,
and he played with Park Jun Won.
yes.
Him and Park Jun Won were on the same team back then.
Yeah,
Um, and this is the first time they're playing. I think this is the first time they've joined up together again.
yeah,
So will history repeat itself?
yeah,
The thing is, they're even like both of them. Well, Koja at least is even stronger now.
yeah. It,
Um, yeah, but I found it interesting because Koja doesn't underachieve in the Jar League. He always performs
yeah,
close to his abilities,
yeah,
and yet he hasn't won in 8 years.
yeah,
Um, Pretty crazy.
yeah,
But yeah, what a stacked team! Like
yeah,
you've got Koje, Park Chun Wan, Shi Wei. You know that's
yeah,
what that's like 16 world titles between them.
yeah,
Then you've got Tao Xinran, Liu Jihe.
yeah,
Like that's two more nine dans.
yeah,
That's crazy. They've got five nine dans
yeah,
in the team. So that means one of them's not playing.
yeah. No. Well, I mean, Loshi is not expected to play. He's mostly a coach, and don't forget he won an
Oh, that's
international
right.
title
Yeah,
as
no,
well.
he didn't. Yeah, he didn't.
I mean,
What was that?
Loshi won an international title as well, Samsung Cup.
Oh, really? Oh, so
Yeah,
okay, so that's 16. No,
yeah,
no, 15 or something.
yeah.
15 world titles between
Yeah.
them. Yeah, yeah, I just noticed he didn't actually play any games last year either. So,
No,
yeah,
so,
fair enough.
fair
I
enough.
guess he's not going to be one of them.
Yeah.
Um
So that's your team Shenzhen, one of the
yeah,
big
but
favorites.
yeah, also interesting to think that you know, Tao Jinran and Rong Yi, they both played fairly close to a full season last year,
Yeah.
and now one of them won't be.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty
They could replace Shire. I mean, Shire is, I believe, 30, 31. So yeah, so they might
okay.
be thinking about the
Yeah,
what.
but this team is, in my opinion, the favorite. I think
Right.
they're the favorite.
Over Hangzhou.
Hangzhou is Shin Jinso's team.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. All right.
Hangzhou has more depth. Hangzhou's probably third and fourth best players are
Yeah.
stronger than these two. But the thing is, this team here. It's just they're just going to get so many. Like basically, if Koje and Park Jun Wan both win,
Yeah.
then they're already guaranteed the match win, and then
Yeah.
they just need one more to get the maximum points.
Yeah. Correct.
So it's hard to see. Like it's hard to see them losing that many matches.
Yeah. I mean, we do have at the end a simulation of the season. So let's see where they come. But
Yeah,
they are ranked second in terms of the average top four ratings, just behind Hangzhou. This is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Now now to Yuzhou. It's a team based in Shandong province. They have Fan Tingyu was in the team, but they traded Fan Tingyu away. But they brought in Shin Minjun from Shenzhen, and
Hmm.
of course they have strong players like Zhou Ruiyang and Jiang Weijie in the team. Of course they have Yiling Tao and Chen Zijian. These are strong player, but on the younger side. Um, so yeah, so that's their team. But they I think they kind of struggled last year.
They came eighth last year, so
Right.
they did make the playoffs.
Yeah. Right.
There's you omitted one other change to the team.
Which is Shibano, I believe. Yes.
Shibano is no longer in the team.
Yeah, because I think you only allow one import per team. So if they have Shiminjun, I guess you kind of would choose Shiminjun over Shibano, although Shibano did beat Shiminjun in the Non-Shim Cup. So yeah,
Oh, when did that happen?
might be the Non-Shim Cup before the last.
Well, I mean that's a while ago now, isn't
Yeah,
it?
well, I mean, yeah. But anyway, so Shiminjun, yeah, Shiminjun came in. Still, looking at this team, because I mean, Zhou Yang and Jiang Weijie are probably Jiang Weijie played pretty well last year. I think he had a really beautiful win against Park Jun-hwan last year. But really, I think he's at around 31, 33. So they are kind of on the older side for Jia League. But, you never know. I think they will struggle to make the top 8 again.
Well, yeah, they only just came eighth last time, and they've replaced Fanting Yu with Shin Minjun.
Yeah,
Uh, I don't. I think that I think they'll be lucky to make the top eight.
yeah, yeah. And then we have now on to Chongqing. This Guli's team, coached by Guli. So Guli was still on the roster last year, but he's no longer. So he's completely quit, which
The
is
end of an era.
end of an era for sure. First Licedo, now Guli, so that's gone. So Guli is now playing just a coach role, and Chongqing has some strong players, Li Chuanhao and Yang Dingxin.
Yeah, they were both in the team last year.
Yeah,
They both did quite well last year, but I think that they've like they're two of the best players in China. I think they might even do even better
yeah,
this year. Like in terms of the top two players,
yeah,
the only other team that has a better top two, I
yeah.
would say, is uh whoever coaches whoever coaches.
Shenzhen.
Yeah, Shenzhen.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're the only team with a stronger top two, in my opinion. I think
right.
this they haven't changed. Yeah, so their team hasn't changed,
Yeah,
but they have gotten better.
yeah,
So just the players have gotten better.
yeah.
They're not a very deep team. I
No,
mean,
it's a bit of a cliff in terms of ratings point after the
yeah,
top two. Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah, it's very hard to pick. Like they could make the top eight.
yeah,
They could finish outside the top 12.
yeah.
It's it's hard to say, but I think that they'll be hovering around eighth.
Okay. Yeah. So that's your Chongqing. I mean, yeah, it's so skewed. So it could be a problem in terms of
Yeah.
for team competition. Now, last year there's a team called Shanghai, but this year I decided to disambiguate and just call them by their sponsor name. So Shanghai Jinseo. That's basically the team Shanghai last year. They have some pretty decent young players. Wang Xinghao, Li Weiqing.
Absolutely. Wang Jinghao, the best 18-year-old in the world.
Yep.
The thing is, this is the same team as last year.
Yep. Oh, they
Um,
did not
with
trade
a
away
difference.
Xiao Hong. I believe they did.
Yes, with a difference. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Last year they had Zhao Hong,
Yeah.
who didn't have a great Jia League. He went 5-6.
Right.
For someone of Zhu Hong's ability, I expected better than that.
Right.
Um, the thing is, Wang Jinghao is amazing, but he did have an amazing Jia League last year, and
Yeah.
Li Weiqing had a very solid Jia League last year, and they
Yeah.
still only came 10th.
Right. Yeah.
The problem is that Huang Mingyu and Hu Yaoyu are
Yeah.
just they're not they're not above average
No.
Jia League players.
Well, who are
Hu
you got
Yaoyu
zero?
actually, yeah, Hu Yaoyu lost all 6 of his games last
All
year.
6. Yeah. So
Yeah, so it's a very similar structure to Team Chongqing.
yeah.
They've got two very strong players.
Yeah.
And yeah, then it goes off a cliff. The difference here is that I would consider Yang Dingjing and Li Junhao to be stronger than Wang Jinghao and Li Weiqing. So
Yeah.
I don't expect this team to make the top 8.
Yeah. So they're gonna
I think they'll probably finish around 10th,
Yeah.
the same as they finished last year.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that Hu Yaoyu is still in the team because of course he's Guli's generation, and obviously Shanghai would have lots of good players. They're probably one of the strongest like regions in China in terms of their player development and all that. A lot
Yeah.
of strong players come from that region, so a bit of a surprise they still keep Hu Yaoyu and whatever for whatever reason, maybe sponsorship or whatever. But yeah, a bit of a pretty weak team for Shanghai team to turn out like that. Okay, and then to Zhejiang, which had pretty much the same team I believe as last year. They have Iyama
Yes.
Yuta, who's the only player with a perfect record in Jia League last year.
Yes. So yeah, it's a bit of a there's a sort of a caveat here. It's they're where they're going to finish is conditional on how many games Iyama Yuta plays.
Right.
He's obviously I think he's definitely capable of competing in the Jia League, unlike the other Japanese players who don't seem to be able to hack it.
Yeah.
But as you said, he had a perfect record last season. He only played 2 games.
Yeah.
I think that Zhejiang's position, their ranking in the regular season will be dependent on how many games Iyama Yuta is able to play.
Right.
The sort of the structure and like the frequency of the rounds
Yeah.
is different this year to last year. So hopefully that will allow Iyama to play more games.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we shall see. Like Tanjiao had he was about 50-50
Yeah.
last year. Tongbing Cheng was a little under 50-50.
Yeah.
Zhang Tao went 50-50.
Yeah.
They do have Zhu Jiayang, I just realized.
Yes. I was gonna say they did brought in Xu Jiayang. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that's definitely an improvement.
Yeah.
For Zheng Qirun,
Right.
who they had last year.
Yeah.
So I think that if Iyama is able to play more than half of the games,
Yeah.
like 8 games,
Yeah.
I think this team could make the top 8.
Yeah. Now I can't read Japanese, but someone's been translating Japanese news articles. Now it looks like Yama will definitely take part in the first 8 rounds. That's what it says in the article. But we shall see. I do hope that Yama can play all 8 games, but really not 100% sure. Or whether Yama will play in the main player board. So let's see.
Yeah. Well, I think that if he were to play, he should. I think he's the best player on the team.
Right. Yeah.
Um.
So,
Yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, he does play all 8 games. I would love to see that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, the two players he beat last season were Ding Hao and Shaker. So very strong
That's right.
players. Very strong players. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so now Xizang, that's they barely escaped relegation last year, and they did bring in Chen Yaoye and Xu Haohong, but they kept Kang Dongyun, which had a terrible season last year. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. How did Kang Dongyun go last year?
let me just look him up. He went 6 out of 15. So but of course Kang is in much better form this year. He just won Weiqi Construction Cup, made the final of Yongseong. But
Yes.
he was expected to win 50% of the games despite his rating last year, but he only came out with 6 out of 15. So that's just under half.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And yeah, who else? Who else do they have in the team?
they had like they had some
Looks like
other weak players,
So they Shin Piran is retained. Ma Rulong
yeah.
is retained. Yeah, but
Yeah, so that's
this
their team last year. So Mao Yulong, Chen Zijian. Oh, Chen Zijian was there. Shen Peiran, Chen Yichun, Chen Hazazi. They like none of, I would say, other than Kang. I probably don't recognize the other names too much. Pretty
this is
weak.
but look, the team this year they've got Chen Yaye
Yeah,
and Zhu Hahong.
yeah,
They're definite improvements
yeah,
from what they had last time, so they'll definitely do better.
yeah,
It depends. It depends on Kang Dongyun's performance. If he has, he really looks to be in insane form this year.
yeah,
If he plays at all like he's been playing this year,
yeah,
this team could make top 8.
yeah.
This team could be this team could be the most improved team
Yeah.
from last year.
I mean, top 8 is a big call. I think
I'm saying if Kang Dongyun is playing like he's played this year, they could make top 8.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I find it hard to believe, but you know.
Yeah, I may be overrating Chen Yaoye. I'm a
Yeah.
big Chen Yaoye fan.
Yeah, he might be past his prime a bit, you know.
He's probably past his prime, but the thing is that he did beat Kojay this year, I think, didn't he?
In the one of the competitions, yeah.
Yeah.
Da Chisu Cup, the Bay Area Da Chisu Cup, I believe.
So like he can beat anyone.
Yeah.
And he could also lose to anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good team. It's definitely a better team than last year.
Yeah. So,
and I think Kang is better than last year. So
yeah. Expecting good.
I'm saying like if they make the top 8, like I called it, you know, but they might finish ninth or 10th. I reckon they might finish 10th.
All right. Let's see. And then you got your Chuzhou. I believe it's fairly similar to last year. They did bring in Jiang Qiren from the other teams. I think they still have To Jia and Kim Ji-sok in the team, which is quite good. But after that, it's a fairly big cliff for them. So
yeah, Kim Ji-sok, he had a fantastic start to the Jia League last year. I think he won his first 5 games, but then he sort of stopped winning.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Tojaxi is still good.
Tojaxi is in really good form. He's obviously he made the Asian Games team. And he also made the Nongshim Cup team. So yeah, he still can play for sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is Kim Ji-sok's record last year. He had 50%, so 7 out of 14. But I guess his opponents were not as strong, so he's actually expected to win 8 games, but only came.
And he won his first 5 games as well, by the way.
So therefore, he must have underperformed in the last 9 rounds. So we got 2 wins out of it. That's pretty
Look, I'm gonna say it straight up. This team's not making the top 8.
right.
Kim Ji-sok and Twoljaksi are good players.
Yeah.
They're not good enough to carry this team.
No.
Like they'll definitely win games, but the thing is, the other four, I don't even know. I'm sorry, I don't even know who those guys are.
Yeah, they're probably not that famous.
They're not above average Jia League players. Those other four players.
Yeah, they're definitely not household names. So anyway, so that's the Tenjin. Like Tenjin is a bit of a surprise to me, because I think if you look at their roster, they wouldn't have struggled as hard as they did, but they are going to be a struggle. So they have Tang Wei Xin and Xia Hao in the team. So collectively, that would be 4 international titles. Now they did try to bring in some reinforcement in Meng Tailing. Meng Tailing, I believe, turned up for Chongqing last year. Still a very strong player. I believe definitely still around top 20, top 30 in China. So still fairly strong. But they are I would say they are again a little bit of a relegation favorite.
Look, they've got more depth this year.
Yeah.
Meng Tailing, Tang Weijing, and Ji Hao. And I think Wang Zejin is a new addition to the team.
Right.
He's not a household name, but he's definitely better than what they had last year.
Right.
Like Li Chengseng, for instance, he played 11 games last year.
Right.
So like he had to play a lot of games, and he won 2 of them, by the way.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, okay, yeah, I just saw that.
Yeah, so it looks like he's their second reserve now.
Yeah.
So already that's an improvement. No offense to Li Chengseng, but you know, if this team wants to avoid relegation, I think that they've made the right decisions. I don't think they'll come last.
Yeah.
It is strange saying a team like this with Tang Weijing, Ji Hao isn't going to make top 8, but they probably won't make top 8.
Yeah.
I don't think that they'll get relegated, but
right.
I don't think they're going to make top 8.
Yeah, Tang Weijing is one of those odd players. In regular games, he kind of just struggles a bit, but in big titles, he comes out, makes the final, wins them. But sometimes he just struggles real hard in the
Yeah, he can have an absolute shocking run of form and in the middle of it win a world title.
Yeah, it's just crazy. All right, so that's your Tianjin, and then there's this second Shanghai team, Shanghai Qingyi. This is the promoted team. I think when they won promotion, they were called Shanghai China Mobile. They were sponsored by China Mobile, but once they made Jia League, I don't know what's happened. Maybe sponsorship got pulled or whatever. But I honestly don't recognize too many of the names except Ichiriki. I know that Chen Jiaye played in the Jia League maybe the year before, but the rest I really can't tell you much about. So that's how much.
Wang Shuo sounds familiar.
Yeah.
I think he's played in an international.
Right. Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, his rating is definitely overrated. He might just have very few games, and those were the select few that for which he has a Kifu recorded. So, but otherwise, Ichiriki is probably the only name I recognize. But according to the news report, they're not 100% sure Ichiriki will play in the first 8 rounds. So it is still a bit of a mystery. But I think
the interesting thing, I just want to point out, Yi Changjing and Wang Chunhui, they actually both played in the same team as Ichiriki last year in the Jia League.
Right.
Team Liuoyang, Yuchon Valley.
Right.
So, mind you, both of those players had absolutely shocking Jia Leagues. Wang Chunhui won 3 and lost 13.
Right.
Yi Chengqin won 1, lost 5. So,
yeah. So, oh wow. I mean, yeah.
I think this team could be going back to Yi League next year.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, looks like a pretty weak roster to me. Now to another promoted team, Kaifeng. So they are again just like a promoted team. Their promotion probably a little bit of surprise to them as well. So they didn't have a lot of time to put together a team, but they did bring in Gu Lingyi, and they got an import Lee Jin-hoon. They're trying to do as best as they can. Just they are trying.
I think Gu Lingyi is a good pickup. I was surprised to see that he was playing in Yi League this year.
Yeah,
I mean, last 2021 Yi League.
yeah,
And Lee Ji-hyun, he's a solid player. Hard to know exactly how well he'll go. He's probably the weakest of the Korean imports.
yeah,
But yeah, it's not a very deep team. They're not going to finish top 8.
yeah,
I do hope that they avoid relegation, just
yeah,
on the fact that they didn't have much time to get a team together,
yeah,
and they deserve an opportunity.
yeah. I mean,
And yeah, I think that they have a chance. I wouldn't say they're the favorites to get relegated.
yeah,
They might be the last team to stave off relegation.
right,
That's my tip.
yeah, yeah. So
I think yeah, I think out of the 16, 2 teams get relegated. So I think I'm tipping them to come 14th.
right,
Yeah.
okay, all right. You know, let's see. Okay. Anyway, so just to summarize, I've done the calculation of the top 4 average team top 4, and just listed the strongest player. Now some of these data is not 100% great because, for example, Wang Shuo probably shouldn't be the strongest team on Qingyi. It might actually be Ichiriki, but Ichiriki can't play many games, so it might as well be him. So basically, by the top 4 average rating, Hangzhou comes first. Their top 4 average rating is 3,589. Their best player, of
Wow.
course, is Shin Jinseo. That's pretty nuts. So they're the highest top 4. Second is Shenzhen, about 40 points below them. Their best player is Keje. And then you have Chengdu. The top 4 average rating is still in the 3.5, so it's pretty crazy. Their best player is Fanting Yu. And then Zhejiang, surprisingly, also above 3.5. The best player is Iyama Yuta. Jiangxi, it says the best player is Peng Li Yao, but the best player is probably Gu Zihao. But
Yep.
still strongly rated. Jiangsu, the strongest player is Myungin. Hangzhou, just cracking the 3.5 average. Strongest player is Ding Hao. Beijing, the strongest player is the import, Kim Beomseo. Shanghai Zhengzhou, the strongest player is Wang Xinghao. Yeah, so but
Yep.
they're gonna struggle hard just because
Depth.
it's average top 4. Yeah, Xizang, surprisingly 10th. They have Kang. Tianjin, the strongest rated player is Meng Tailing, even though Meng Tailing has not won an international title. The other 2 players, Xie Hao and Tang Weixin, have. Chongqing, the highest rated player is Li Xuanhao, but it's arguable because it could actually be Yang Dingxin. So one of the 2.
I mean, yeah, it could be either of them. Yeah.
Either of them, yeah. Probably the same class of players. And then Yu Zhao, you have the stronger players, Shin Minjun. They probably struggle a little bit in the top 4, rated in the top 3.3. Now, mind you, rated in the 3.3 is actually not bad. That's roughly where Choi Jong is rated. And to make the one of the major leagues in Japan, that's probably decent enough to make one of the top leagues in Japan.
Yeah.
But it's just maybe not going to cut it for Jia League, unfortunately. Qingyi, we talked about that. Probably not Wang Shuo, the stronger player. Chuzhou struggle hard. Strongest player is either Tojiashi or Kim Ji-sok, one of the 2. Kaifeng, yeah, the strongest player is probably their import, Lee Jit-hoon, so they're going to struggle real hard. So definitely the lowest rated of the teams. And basically just ran a simulation of the regular season. Hangzhou has a 56% chance of winning the regular season. They're expected to collect 34 points out of 45 possible. So they only expected to lose 11 points on average out of the maybe 100,000 simulations. Shenzhen likely to come second, collecting 31 points on average. Chengdu coming third, collecting 30 points. Zhejiang, it's a real surprise packet for me. They have Iyama Yuta in the team, but they 27 points probably conditioned on Iyama Yuta playing a lot of games. So probably not that accurate if Iyama Yuta doesn't end up playing that much. But yeah, so that's it. Your promoted teams are relegation favorites along with Chuzhou. Yuzhou is probably not that far off. These in Tenjin, probably these teams are going to struggle. It would be funny if Chongqing get relegated because they have Yang Dingxin and Li Chunhao in the team. But
They're not going to get relegated.
yeah, it's a huge cliff in terms of ratings point after top two. So that's it. That's a wrap for Jia League this year. It's going to start on the 3rd of August for about 9 days. So really looking forward to that.
Yes, and we'll be giving an update next week and the week after for
Yeah, 100%.
the Jia League results.
Yeah. Shall we then?
I just want to also point out this is the first time in a while that Korean and Chinese players will be playing each other in official games.
Yeah.
I think the last time was maybe the LG Cup.
Yeah.
And that was a couple of months ago. So it has been quite a while.
Yeah.
Of course, Shin Jinseo, he has a 24-game win streak against Chinese players.
Yes.
So it looks like we're almost certainly going to see that end in the next fortnight.
Oh,
that streak.
that's a big prediction. Big prediction.
I don't think it's a big prediction. I mean, surely you don't think that Shin Jinseo is going to win all of the first 8 games in Jia League. That
Yeah.
I mean, Shin Jinseo is a good player, but even that's a bit of a a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I think eight games is rough, just over half the regular season, and Shin Jinseo, I believe, lost 3 times in the regular season last year. So yeah, I mean, the expectation is that if he performs as well as last year, he's expected to lose 1 to 1.5 games. So 1 or 2 games is probably normal. But we don't know. But yeah, his win streak might break. But the funny thing is, if the win streak breaks at the very last game, that means he would have had a 31 game winning streak versus Chinese players, or maybe Japanese players.
I think even 24 games in a row against Chinese players is absolutely ridiculous, especially considering the caliber of players that he's played against.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling. It's one of the most impressive, feats in professional Go.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, so let's see. Maybe just this is where Shin Jinseo will stop his win streak. All right, and I think we should just go over the next big one this week, which is the Gosei.
Yes.
What's happened? So now the Gosei is a best of 5, right? And,
it's a Japanese title. It's one of
title.
the 7 major titles, and the title match is indeed a best of 5.
Yes, and in a little bit of a deja vu. We talked about a final last week, but it's again Iyama Yuta versus Ichiriki, which seems to be a little bit of a theme recently, because
it's the third time. It's the third title match that they've had this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, so Ichiriki of course beat Iyama Yuta 4-3 in the Kisei, but then unexpectedly went 4-0 in the Honinbo, lost to Iyama Yuta. That's quite crazy. And then in the Gosei this week, Game 3 happened, but before Game 3, Iyama is already up 2-0. Right, 2-0. So I guess the question on people's mind was, is Ichiriki gonna get, another dark egg? Is he gonna get destroyed?
Gonna get swept.
Swept 3-0. And history repeats itself.
Yeah, he lost. Ichiriki lost. Yeah. He didn't win a single game in the Gosei. He lost 3-0.
Yeah.
And he's now lost 7 games in a row against Iyama.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of is crazy how he took the Kisei, the most prestigious title from Yama, but after that he just kind of decided, oh, I don't know how to win against Yama. You know?
Yeah, it seems to be very much a mental thing now. All of a sudden,
Yeah,
which is strange because Ichiriki now he has a lot of experience in title games.
yeah,
Um, and this game it just looks like he got outread.
yeah,
Almost from the very beginning.
yeah,
Um, I will say I was watching this game, live
yeah,
as it was happened, and obviously, being a Q level player, I was following with the AI.
yeah,
So the AI, like at about move 40 or something, it
yeah,
already said it was like 95%
yeah,
in favor of White, who was Iyama.
yeah,
But like to me, like outside of the AI, it did look it did actually look very dangerous
yeah,
for White because White had a group
yeah,
that it wasn't immediately safe.
yeah,
Now you're going through the game on the screen here.
yeah,
So the first moves that I want to look at is if you can go forward one move. Wait, let me see if I can see what move number. Yeah, that move there, the B11.
yeah,
Now the thing is, Ichiriki could have played B12.
yeah,
And I think the difference here is that B12 saves the two connected stones on at D13 and E13.
yeah,
Whereas with B11, those stones get captured.
yeah.
So I don't know why he played B11
Yeah.
instead of B12.
Now, I did hear the report. It says maybe it can be confirmed by looking at the stream, but Ichiriki played this move very quickly. It might just be, he didn't think about it. But apparently another detail
That would be insane.
yeah. Now apparently what's happened is immediately after Ichiriki played this move, Yama took it really slow. He started to sip some tea, just really deliberate about the position, because I think he sensed something is wrong with Black's position over here. So he played here. Yeah. Now Black had to do this Atari, and I think this Atari might be crucial. So if you played here, Atari.
Yeah, so then those black stones don't die then.
I wonder. I kind of am wondering a bit why. I haven't read the commentaries, but we play here. Why does Black have to Atari here? If Black doesn't Atari here, then what happens? Because maybe this one stone can get cut off. Maybe I'm not really sure yet. But yeah. But anyway, that's one of Ichiriki's mistakes, I do believe.
Yeah, the mistake was definitely B11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
So then it eventually got to it got to a point where Black then sort of was attacking that group on the left.
Yeah.
And so Iyama basically, this is where I thought, well, I don't really see exactly what White's meant to do here.
Yeah.
Obviously, the AI is saying White's completely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't see exactly what White was meant to do here. Like if White was meant to cut.
Yeah.
What? And in the end, Iyama made enough sort of threats.
Yeah.
On Black's surrounding stones that he was able to not only live.
Yep.
Locally with two eyes.
Yeah.
right? Which you can see here being played out.
Yeah.
But he actually was able to do it while keeping Sente.
Yes, that's so important. He lived and kept Sente. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and like if the thing is, the AI says that if he was able to live in Gote,
Yeah,
it probably would have the game probably would have still been even.
right.
But the fact that he was able to live with Sente,
Yeah,
um, like for professional level play, that's just
yeah,
a huge advantage.
yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, the Sente, the difference between Sente and Gote is basically black goes first in the game, but he has to give 6.5 Komi. So it's huge,
yeah,
huge for pros, I guess. Um, yeah. So white got lived and got Sente from this position where I think this is when I paid attention to the stream and I was like, it's not clear to me where white's two eyes are, but Iyama just played
yeah,
beautifully and just lived.
really, really good local reading
Yeah,
by Iyama. Like I'm not sure how difficult that is for pros, but clearly
yeah,
Ichiriki missed something. So
yeah, yeah. Um,
the way that Iyama is able to sort of calmly deal with his weak groups is quite impressive.
yeah. You see, he's running
Uh,
another weak group here, but eventually it kind of came
yeah,
good.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
yeah. He demonstrated that a couple of times in this game, and the thing is that Ichiriki was behind. Like
Mm,
especially once Iyama's group on the left was able to live with Sente,
yeah,
Ichiriki was, basically, I think he knew he had to do. He had to. There had to be. White had to have some sort of disaster somewhere,
yeah.
some sort
Which
of major death.
which didn't happen
And
because his white group is now is alive.
yes, yes, yeah. And the thing was, Black could have gotten. I think Black could have gotten the top right corner,
Right.
but
Yeah.
I think that Ichiriki decided that you know it would have been Gote
Yeah.
if Black got the top right corner. So, and Ichiriki decided I think that wasn't nearly enough
Yeah.
to win, like to reverse the game, which
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
was true.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough,
Yeah.
but there was nothing that he could do.
Yeah. So basically, just traded the top, bottom right for it. I guess just it didn't end up being enough, and he resigned. And this is just 3-0 for Ichiriki versus
Yeah,
Yama. So Yama, congratulations on Yama for winning another title. Now, someone did do a statistic. So over the last 10 years, of each year, Japan would would crown 7 winners in the 7 major title matches. So that's 70 titles in total. Now, do you know how much Yama has won out of the 70?
I'm gonna say he's won 50.
Yes, I think it's like 49 or 50. I can't remember, but it's very close. So basically, roughly 5 out of 7. He just won by one person, just one person. Now this has obviously never been achieved before. No one's that dominant in Japanese Go in the past, maybe except Yayo Sakata, but that was a long time ago. So
The thing is though, again, Iyama is a fantastic player,
yeah,
and he's been the best Japanese player for the last 10 years for sure.
100%. Yeah,
And but I do want to say,
yeah.
can you name a strong Japanese player younger than Iyama but older than Ichiriki?
Younger than Yama, older than Ichiriki.
Yeah.
Strong player. Daisuke. He might be
Yeah.
older than Yama. I'm not sure.
Wait, is Daisuke older than Iyama?
Might be.
Daisuke is a good shout, actually.
Right.
Let me see how old Daisuke is.
Yeah. But hard. It's definitely tough. I think.
I mean, there's Yu Zenshi, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. You Jiangxi is 28.
Daisuke was born in 1990, so that's fair enough.
Right.
The one person I was thinking of was Ida Atsushi.
Right. It's a former Judan. Yeah.
Former Judan, yeah. But I am what I guess I'm saying is Iyama is a fantastic player, but there hasn't been that much. Like in terms of competition,
Yeah,
you could say that he's sort of dominated in an era that hasn't been particularly strong for Japanese Go.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
It's getting better now with Shibano, Sushawan, and Ichiriki
Yeah,
coming in, and there have been players like Daisuke Murakawa,
yeah,
Yuzengchi, and Ida Atsushi,
yeah,
but yeah, it's
yeah,
there was a bit of a drought, I would say, in
yeah,
of players, born between 1990 and 1995
yeah,
with strong abilities.
yeah,
Mind
yeah,
you, though, Iyama is still a fantastic player, and
yeah, 100%.
he, yeah, he could end up being I would say he's the strongest player since Cho Chi-hoon at the very least,
Right.
um, in terms of
Yeah,
his achievements, and he could end up exceeding Cho Chi-hoon.
yeah,
But yeah, uh, it's one of the disappointing things also with Iyama is I think that because he's won so many titles and he's held so many titles,
yeah,
it's limited his ability to play in world majors
yeah,
because a
100%.
lot of the world majors seem to clash with title matches.
Yeah,
So he hasn't played in that many world majors, and he hasn't won any world majors.
yeah,
And yeah, I think it. I've mentioned this before, but I do think that at his peak, he was capable of winning a world major.
yeah.
The problem is that at his peak, he
It was too
he
busy.
he had so many clashes, he couldn't
Yeah,
actually compete in the world majors.
yeah,
And the interesting thing is, even though people still talk about his recent Nongshim Cup performance,
yeah,
where
yeah.
he won
Four
four
games.
games,
Yeah,
but in terms of world majors, the individual championships,
yeah.
I don't think he's won. I don't think he's won a single game in 3 years.
Right.
Um,
Oh, that's not good.
yeah, I think he's lost his last five or so games
Yeah,
in world majors, and like I said, he doesn't play all of them either.
yeah,
So yeah, it's it doesn't look like yeah, it looks like he may never win a world major. I
yeah,
wouldn't rule it out. You wouldn't rule it out, but there's a lot of strong players that he'd have to beat to win one.
yeah,
Whereas players like Cho Chi Hoon, like Yoda Norimoto, they did win world majors.
yes, yes. I think, yeah, I mean, Japanese players in the past were definitely capable, but now I think a lot of the talk was that they're just not they're just not strong enough. But having said that, now I just want to loop back to one of the points you made earlier, which is that Yama is just dominant. He just kind of wins everything. This infographic popped up on Chinese social media. Now for those who can't read kanji, that's just the players' names. But don't forget about the kanji. Just go by the color. So going down here is the year, and across is the 7 titles and who actually won them. Basically, if you won them and if you're a notable enough player, you just get your color, right? And you can see here from around 2012 to now, it's all red, and that's just all Yuta. I mean, occasionally he would lose to some people like Yuki Satoshi took Judan from him, and then it was held by Shinji and then Ida Sushi, and then he took it back when he lost to Daisuke and hasn't held the Judan since. But and then of course he just recently lost the Kisei to Ichiriki. He held the Honinbo for like 11 years. For the Gosei, he lost to Shucharan, but then he took it back and won again this year. So it's just all red. But it wasn't the case really before 2012, before Yuta came on board. Like just
Yeah,
before
no,
that,
yeah. The one thing to note is that
yeah,
in the past there were people that dominated titles like the Brown. I think that's Kobayashi
yeah,
Koichi.
that's right. Yeah,
But the thing is, no one. Iyama had long winning streaks in every single
everyone,
title.
yes.
Like no one's ever done that before.
No, yeah, just look at the graphics. Like before then, it was many colors, but after
Yeah,
that, just red mostly. So he won 5 out of 7. Like last 10 years, So that's pretty crazy record.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. No, it is crazy.
yeah,
Um, Again, it's really really outstanding. My one regret is that I wish that he did play more
international.
international
Yeah,
games.
I
Like literally last year was the first year that he played Jia League.
right. Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah,
Um,
but I think I do hope I don't think he ever had the mindset. I don't think it was ever his decision to avoid international play. I don't think he's the type of person that just likes easy easy money
yeah,
or like these types of players to get as good as they are, they don't avoid challenge, you know.
yeah,
But I do think I think that he is trying to play more international games. Like he is, playing in the Jar Leagues
yeah,
finally.
yeah,
Um, and I think he's playing in the Kuksu Mountains tournament,
yeah,
which while it isn't a world major, it is an international event.
yeah,
So, and I think he did play in the Chunlan Cup. He did play in the Chunlan Cup this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
Unfortunately, he lost,
I believe
but
to Kim Ji Sok in the first
to
round.
Kim
Yeah,
Ji Sok, yes,
yeah,
but he did at the very least play.
yeah,
So hopefully he continues to play in the international
yeah,
events. Of course, he always plays in the Nongshim Cup,
yeah,
so he always plays in that, and he will be playing in the Asian Games as well. So
yeah,
yeah, I do hope that he does get the opportunity to play more international games. Of
yeah.
course, I'd love to see him play Shin Jinseo again.
Mm,
He's played Shin Jinseo twice so far, lost both times.
yeah,
But Shin Jinseo is one of the players that he's never beaten.
right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do remember an interview where he said that he one of his dreams is to win an international title. So, yeah, let's see. Hopefully it happened, but it's a strong competition.
it would be a huge result for Japanese Go
Yeah,
if Iyama were to win an international title.
yeah. Now,
Yeah, a world major. He did win the Asian TV Cup once,
yes, yes,
um, which is which is a fairly big event.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so now we gotta now go back all the way to Korea to cover another final. Uh, Now this final just happened this week, and this is the Yongseong final. It's a
Yes.
fast game. It's played between Shin Jinseo and Kang Dongyun, and it's the second final that Kang has made this year. But and this is them playing the final.
Yeah, Kang Dongyun is looking to win his first title since last week.
Yes, since last week where he won the YK Construction Cup. But I think we should really quickly look at the key foods, just to get a sense of what
Go for it.
what's happened. So now what how would you summarize the two games, Gaza?
I would summarize it as um, good, good complexity, then all of a sudden a quick death.
Yes, and this is true for both games. Yeah. So
Well, both games we should point out for those people that are just listening that the Yongseong is one of the major Korean titles,
Yep.
domestic titles. The final is 30 minutes with 20 seconds Fisher increment.
Right.
So every move you make, once you make that move, 20 seconds get added to your clock.
Yep.
And the two finalists were Kang Dongyun and Shin Jinseo.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a best of three, and we
Yeah.
should say the result: Shin Jinseo won both games.
Yeah.
So he won the final 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's go on to the games now. So the
Yeah.
first game was played on Tuesday,
Yep. So this is the game one.
and Shin Jinseo was white,
White. Yep.
and
Kang Dong.
yeah, it was a complex game.
Yeah.
The AI had it going both ways.
Yeah.
You know, some moves were, some positions were good for black, some were good for white, until
Yeah.
eventually, I think black had a group in the center,
Yeah.
that, white,
Yeah.
attacked.
Yeah. Now, like, honestly, like, the way I think about this game was that it just looks like Shin Jin-soo had just like superior understanding of the game, like, because okay, if I'm playing someone of similar strengths to me, and I look at my black group here, if I'm playing black, I was like, no way this black group is gonna die, like, I mean, there's a cut here for white, whatever. So white's not that, it's not gonna kill me, whatever, man. But okay, so Kang Dong-yun at this point, once he made a peep as black, so Shin Jin-soo just say, okay, if you peep, I play on the top, and I go, okay, I'm happily gonna take some points, right? Just took some points, and bang, white started attacking this black group, and it happened. Black just died. Look, all of a sudden, it happened very, very suddenly, and it just these simple things like this, it just tells me that Shin Jin-soo just has superior understanding of what's happening. It just his positional sense is just so much better than Kang Dong-yun. It's just one local area. Kang Dong-yun says, yeah, this group is safe, I can take more points. Bang, he noticed something that Kang didn't, just kill this group, and that's how the game ended. That's it. Just suddenly
Yeah.
ends. And I think at that time it might be AI might have had Kang ahead a little bit just before this incident happened. If I'm not wrong, I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, it was. I think it was pretty close.
It was
The
pretty
I had it
close.
pretty close
Yeah.
before that. Yeah.
Now, this is the second game. I tried to fast forward. I didn't pay as much attention to this game because I kind of knew what was going to happen before the game. There's a calendar of pro games, and I don't know, for whatever reason, Game 3 was put on the calendar. So before Game 2 even happened, I said, "Can you please remove that from the calendar, please?" That's exactly what happened. So I think what's happened here is that all right. So Shin Jin-soo is black, Kang Dong-yun is white. So this white group here is not obviously not alive, but white can just play at this point and just it's roughly connected, but no, that's not what happened. And then Shin Jin-soo play something here, play something on top. Here.
Yeah, Shin Jinseo is black, by the way.
Yeah, Shin Jin-soo is black. Yeah, and bang, I think Shin Jin-soo just took so much profit. I'm not sure if this white group is dead or not. No, I think
I don't think the group is dead, but
alive.
the problem is that the white group on the right, not the top right, but sort of the middle right.
Yeah.
Not all of that will live.
Oh right, yeah.
There's going to be a cut.
Right.
So white is going to lose some stones there, and that's just going to be bad news.
Right. Yeah. So again,
Like the oh yeah, so the cut yeah, yeah. Um see that black plus sign, yeah, the cut there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's gonna be fatal
yeah, yeah,
for White's game.
yeah. So again, it happened just very suddenly. I mean, just by threatening this white group, black makes
Yeah.
some moves here and then engineer the cut out of here, which is yeah, again, just crazy. I believe in this game they might have Kang Dongyun ahead by a bit more than game one, but again, it feels like Shin Jin-cho just noticed like a detail.
There was never a point in the game where the AI said Kang was absolutely winning.
Right, right, right.
Like they may have it may have said that he had some advantages,
Yeah,
especially when Shin Jin-so played I think in the bottom right, in
yeah,
the bottom left,
yeah.
sorry. I think Shin Jin-so had a bit of a misplay
Right.
according to the AI. No, no. If you go back, I think it was move 159.
Right.
Yeah, AI didn't like that move for some reason.
Right.
I think maybe it was a bit slow.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't say that Kang Dongyun was absolutely winning. Like the thing is that like the it's a computer against a computer would have been winning for White,
Yeah.
but but no one else. There was still a lot of play. Like there was still so many complications left in the position.
Yeah.
And the thing with both games was pretty much Kang Dong-yoon sort of just ran out of time.
Yeah.
He didn't have enough time to read the position out.
Right.
Again, with 20-second increment, when you run out of time, you have 20 seconds to move.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and Shinjin, so I think I've never seen anyone manage their time better than Shinjin. So
Yeah.
um, so yeah, he always seems to have enough time
Yeah.
to read out everything, and Kang Dong Yoon just didn't just if he played really well, really solidly until he ran out of time, and
Yeah.
then he made you know a fatal mistake,
Yeah.
and Shin Jinso punished him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Shin Jinso definitely deserves this title.
Yeah.
Um, was the better player over both games.
Yeah.
Mind you, this is his third straight Yongseong title. There have
Yeah.
been five Yongseong titles,
Yeah.
five Yongseong championships. Interestingly enough,
Hmm.
Kang Dong Yoon and Shin Jin So they appeared in the final of all four,
Yeah.
but this was the first time that they both met in the final.
Right.
So Kang Dong Yoon was in the first Yongseong final.
Hmm.
He lost to Kim Ji Sok. Then Shin Jin So was in the final for the second, third, and fourth editions. And now both of them were in the final for the fifth edition.
Right.
So every final has featured either Kang Dong Yoon or Shin Jin So.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, this was Shin Jin So's fourth straight Yongseong final and his third straight title.
Yeah. And speaking about consecutive titles, Yongseong is probably not the only one where Shin Jin-so is making an effort to continue his winning streak. The other one is Myungin, which had its a number of games, the quarterfinals or the winners bracket this year. Now, the Myungin is in its current form it's like a double elimination, and Shin Jin-so has won it how many times? I believe
Once.
once.
He's won it once because this is only the second time that it's been. This is only the second time it's been held since it got discontinued about 5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
He did participate in some of the older Myunjins, but he wasn't as strong
yeah,
back then. So
yeah,
like to give it like to sort of give a bit of thought as to how long ago it was discontinued. Before last year, Lee Se-dol was the reigning champion.
right, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, last year was the first opportunity that Shin Jinseo had to play the Myungin as a 9-dan,
Yeah,
and he won it. So he's going for two in a row.
yeah. So going for two in a
um,
row.
Mind you, he didn't actually play his game this week because he was occupied with the Yongseong.
Right.
So his game against Sim Jae-ik will be next week.
Yeah,
But the other three quarterfinals in the winners bracket did happen,
yeah. Um,
and I don't think we need to go over any of the key foos
yeah.
unless you wanted to.
No.
But let's just quickly go over the results.
Yeah. So,
Kim Ji-sok beat Shin Min-jun
yeah,
in the quarterfinal. I remember. I think we were watching that game, and you did notice that Shin Min-jun did sort of outread Kim Ji-sok in the beginning,
yeah,
but still it wasn't enough to
yeah,
prevail.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it was a good game by Kim Ji-sok, good game by both, but
yeah.
Shin Min-jun will now have to play Hong Mu-jin in the losers bracket
Right.
um, to continue his Myunjin chances.
Yeah,
Whereas Kim Ji-sok, he will play the winner of Shin Jin-seo and Sim Jae-ik.
yeah. So yeah, that's the only game. Yeah, that's still undecided in the quarterfinal.
Yes.
And on to the other two.
So the next game to be played was An Cho-young, the
Yeah.
veteran,
Yep,
against Wong Song-jin.
yep,
And that was Wong Song-jin did win.
Yeah.
I think it was a predictable result.
yep,
It was an interesting game in that essentially both players made huge sacrifices, and it was essentially just each player had just one massive region.
yeah.
But in the end, yeah, Wong Song-jin's region ended up being bigger.
Right.
And so An Cho-young, he will now have to play Cho Wang-kyu
Yep,
in the losers bracket.
right. Yep,
And then the third and final game that was played this week was Kang Seung-min versus Park Chun-hwan.
yep,
So Kang Seung-min does not have a good record against Park Chun-hwan, but he did win their last game. And
Right.
remember, that was that famous
Baduk League.
game in the Korean League grand final.
Yeah,
But this time, Park Chun-hwan got revenge for that game. So Park Chun-hwan did win this
Yep.
time around. A fairly solid, win.
yep,
And so Kang Seung-min will now have to play Byun Sang-il
yeah.
in the losers bracket.
Right. Yeah, tough one. Yeah.
Tough one for Kang Seung-min, yeah,
Yeah.
but
Well,
who knows?
who knows?
But anyway, Park Chun-hwan and Wong Song-jin, they will meet each other in the winners semi-final.
Yep. Kim Ji's.
And yeah, Kim Ji-sok will meet either Shin Jin-seo or Sim Jae-ik in the
Yep.
winners semi-final. All of those players still have no losses yet.
Yes.
So none of those games will be elimination games.
Yep.
And there are still 12 players left because none of these games that were played this week were elimination games.
Yep.
The next game will also be a non-elimination game, Shin Jin-seo versus Sim Jae-ik.
Yep.
I'm not sure if there are any other Myungin games coming up next week. Let me just quickly check.
Well, we can see that at the end in the calendar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just that one game that's going to be played.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
but
Yeah. Okay. So, if we were to stay in Korea, do you want to take us through what's happened in the Ha Chanseok Gifted Tournament?
yes, the
Ooh.
Ha Chanseok Gifted Tournament. So, what did we? So last week we did cover the start of the final of the Ha Chanseok Gifted Tournament. So this is this is like basically an under 18s
Right.
Korean tournament.
Yeah.
And the final was between Kim Beomseo and Kwon Hyojin.
Yeah.
Kim Beomseo won game 1,
Yeah.
which we covered in the last podcast. Game 2, I think, was on Saturday.
Yeah.
So,
By
about
the
a
way,
week.
this is Kim Beomseo over here.
Kim Beomseo on the left. Yes.
Oh, on the right, this guy.
No, Kim Beomseo is on the left.
Oh, this is
He's the
Kim
one in the
Beomseo.
dark shirt. Yes,
Oh, is that
absolutely.
right? Okay.
Kwon Hyojin is on the right.
Ah,
I can assure you this. I know my Korean players.
all right, cool.
Um,
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah, that's Kim Beomseo.
yeah,
Yep.
okay. And Kim Beomseo did win game 2.
Yep.
So that means it's a best of 3 final. So he won 2-0.
Yep.
And he is the Ha Chanseok 10th edition champion. And that's his second tournament win.
Hmm.
It's his second tournament win already.
Yep.
He's only been a pro for about 15 months. And he's already won 2 tournaments.
Very nice.
And that also gives him, since he won this tournament, he gets promoted 1 rank, so he now goes up to 4 dan.
Right.
And the other thing that happened, so he was champion, but Ha Chang-seok is also has a little bit of an exhibition
Right.
afterwards.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And this time around, they had the runner-up, Kwon Hyojin, play the number 2 player in Korea.
Yep.
So if you go that, Park Chun-hwan,
Yep.
and the winner, Kim Beomseo, he played the number 1 player in Korea,
Yep.
the former 2-time Ha Chanseok champion Shin Jinseo.
Yeah.
And I just want to say another thing about this. Ha Chanseok is sponsored by Hapcheon County,
Right.
which is an area in Korea. Now, Hapcheon County also sponsor a Korean Baduk League team. Hapcheon, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
And they were the team, if you remember, they're the team that won the Baduk League.
Yeah.
And, Park Chun-hwan is like the captain or the main player of that team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's of course appropriate that Park Chun-hwan would appear in this tournament, sponsored by Hapcheon County, to play an exhibition game against one of the finalists.
Yep. Very nice.
But yeah, just to give those exhibition games, they're not official games, so they don't count in their players' career records.
Right.
But just for the record, they were, Kwon Hyojin and Kim Beomseo were no match for Park Chun-hwan and Shin Jinseo. The 2 wins were fairly comprehensive. Both of the youth players lost a big group.
Right. Yeah.
I will say, I remember one of the YouTube comments saying Beomseo got a great education, got a true education from Master Jinseo.
Right.
As a comment on the Kim Beomseo Shin Jinseo game.
Yeah.
Yes, but you can see, if you're watching the video here, you can see some pictures. If you go, that's the picture between Kim Beomseo and Shin Jinseo in the exhibition. The next picture is the exhibition that was played 10 years prior, when Shin Jinseo was the youth player.
Yeah.
And he played the legendary Lee Chang-ho, and Shin Jinseo actually won that game.
Nice. Very nice.
And that really sort of, Shin Jinseo was, I think he was the very first player to turn pro through the gifted promotion
Right.
initiative.
Yeah.
And so he really sort of solidified his worth as a gift, like his status as a gifted player.
Yeah.
With this game, and he he really hasn't taken his foot off the pedal since then. He's proven himself to be not just a gifted prodigy, but a champion as an adult.
Yeah.
What's the next?
The next picture is might have been.
So that could be another Shinjin. So not in the Ha Chanseok game, but if you go back a few pictures, there were also some simultaneous games. Go back another one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, there's I think that's Park Young-hoon.
Yeah.
And that could be Kim Jin-hui in the background there. But they're both Hapcheon County. They're both players for the Hapcheon County Baduk League team.
Yep.
So I think that, as part of this exhibition and part of this event, the players from that team came and gave some simultaneous games.
Yes, very nice. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So that's it.
Yeah,
That's the
but one other thing is that starting this week they did have, since this is the 10th edition of the Ha Chanseok Ha Chanseok tournament, they had a 10-year anniversary, a 10th anniversary tournament,
Yep.
involving all of the previous winners as well as some other players.
Yep.
Um, which we mentioned in the last podcast, but it actually started this week. I thought it started next week, but it actually started this week.
Yep.
So there's 8 players in
Right.
it.
Yep.
I'll just there have been 2 games, so I'll just quickly give the results of both of those.
Yep.
So Kwon Hyojin, um, even though he didn't win this event, he was invited to participate in the anniversary tournament,
Right.
and he played Lee Yeon, who was the wild card,
Yep.
and Lee Yeon won.
Right.
And then in today's game, Park John-hoon, who I think he won the 6th edition of the Ha Chanseok um, County Tournament. I'm just going to quickly check that.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, where is it?
Yep.
Here it is. Okay, so Park Jong-hoon, no, sorry, he won the 4th edition
Yep.
of the Ha Chanseok tournament. He played Hyun Yu Bin, who won the 8th edition.
Mm.
And Hyun Yu Bin won that game.
Yep.
Okay, so I think Lee Yeon will be playing Hyun Yu Bin in the semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 quarterfinals have yet to be played, but we'll go over them in the next podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can only see the 2 key foods that you mentioned, so that's good. And
Yeah.
okay, so let's now move to the IBK Cup final. This is
Yeah.
this is a big one, big one for
Oh yeah.
for
Well,
Korean
this
Baduk.
is just this is I've been really looking forward to this because
Yeah.
this is one of the Korean women majors.
Yep.
It's a big tournament in Korea.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly look up the prize money for this because
If I'm not wrong, it might be the biggest prize money for women's competitions.
it's 30 million Korean won.
Right.
Um,
That's
just for
pretty
just
thousand.
just for comparison, the Yongseong
Yeah.
that Shin Jinseo just won,
Yeah.
the winner's prize there was 30 million Korean won. So it's the same amount of money
Yeah.
as the Yongseong.
Yeah.
Um, you're right. That may be
Yeah.
the number one. Actually, I think the Hobart Cup is also the same amount of money.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a big tournament, and the thing is, right, these 2 players here in the finals,
Yeah.
Jeong Yujin and Park Taehee, neither of them are in the top 20 in
Yeah.
Korea,
Yeah.
but between the 2 of them, they knocked out 4 of the top 5
Yeah.
in the Korean rankings.
Yeah.
Jeong Yujin, her very first round, knocked out
Choi Jong.
number 1, the undisputed Korean number 1, Choi Jong.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah.
And then in the semi-final, she knocked out number 4, Kim Yun-ji.
Kim Ji. Yeah.
Um,
Just when I thought Jeong Yujin is a one trick pony, just one
Yeah.
hit wonder, she does it again. Beats Kim Eun Ji as well.
yeah, amazing.
Amazing.
And Park Tae-hee,
Yeah.
first round, she beat Oh Yoo-jin,
Yep.
and in the semi-final,
Yep.
she beats number 3. Oh Yoo-jin's number 2 in Korea.
Yep.
The semi-final, she beat number 3 in Korea. Number 5 in Korea,
Yep.
Cho Song-ah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
The only player in the top 5 who wasn't beaten by one of these 2 was number 3 Kim Chi-young. She lost to
Right.
Cho Song-ah, I think, in the quarterfinals or something.
Right.
Like that.
Yeah. So
But just to give another sort of comparison as to
Yeah,
these two, these players sort of relative level among
yeah,
Korean women. So both of these players compete in the Korean Women's Baduk League.
yeah,
Now there are 8 teams in that league, and there are 4 players on each team, but each match is only 3 games.
yeah,
So one of the players is essentially a reserve
yeah,
and doesn't play most of the rounds.
yeah,
Park Tae-hee is actually the reserve on her team.
yeah,
She doesn't even play every round of the women's Baduk League, and now she's in a final.
yeah,
Funnily enough, the Yujin is actually like the number one player
yeah.
on her team,
Mm-hmm.
and she actually has the most. Yujin has the most wins so far in the Korean Women's Baduk League, and yet she lost in the first round to her reserve.
Yeah,
It's just astonishing.
yeah,
But anyway, game one of this best of three final happened on Wednesday, I believe. Let me quickly check. Yes, it was Wednesday, and it was a good game.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it was won by Jeong Yujin.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't record the Kifu. I did. I obviously watched the game, but it was just a solid win by Jeong Yujin.
yeah,
I think it was a win in Yosei. Like she was ahead, but it did get to the end game, and Jeong Yujin was just too solid.
yeah,
Um, yeah, just a good performance. Um, nothing really special about the game that I want to cover, but
yeah,
yeah, I'm a bit of a Jong Yujin fan, I have to be honest, and it was
yeah,
it was it was good to see her win. She's very young. She's not. She's older. She's just a year older than Kim Yoon Ji, but she's yeah. So she's 16. Wouldn't it be crazy if she wins a title at 16?
yeah. Obviously, it would be crazy, crazy.
Yeah,
Especially considering her relative position in the rankings.
yeah.
So this is
It's
huge.
yeah. Yeah. It's really strange to think about. She's such she's such a volatile player, I would say.
Yeah,
Like she beat Choi Jong, she beat Kim Yoon Ji, but last week she lost to Kim Hyo Young, who
right,
is who is an up and coming player, but she was when she resigned, she was behind by 140 points on the board.
right. Yeah,
Like that's the type of player she is. She can get these miracle wins, but then she can also lose horrendously.
yeah,
I think she's quite a fearless player. She's not afraid to play or against anyone.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, she's definitely got a likable play style. Um, and but the thing is, right? She's like I said, she is 16, so there's still a lot of time for her to become more solid
yeah,
and 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 just just you know get better. She
yeah,
she could actually be like you know a really good player. I'm not sure if she'll ever be like a top 100 in Korea player,
yeah,
but you just never know. Like the thing is, I keep forgetting that she is so young. She's still got plenty of time to improve,
yeah. 100%.
and she's already in a women's major final.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, one to watch. Definitely
yeah.
huge surprise for
But
her to
that
get
being
this
said,
far.
yeah, she is ahead 1-0, but it hasn't finished yet.
Yeah,
Games 2 and 3, I believe, will be next week. Game 2 is definitely going to be next week on Wednesday. I don't know
yeah,
when game 3 is, um,
yeah,
but game 3 is going to be the week after. So if Park Tae-hee wins next week, then they'll play the week after.
yeah. Okay, so from one women's tournament to another, we have the women's Honinbo, which is a little bit like the IBK Cup in some ways, wouldn't you say?
In what way?
Well, I mean, the 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 in a way that they both women's tournaments.
They're both women's tournaments. I guess you might be trying to say they both have very young players
Yeah.
participating.
I mean, yes. Look at the. So basically, this is the women's Honinbo. So this is the what do you call it? It's a challenger tournament. It's a tournament.
It's a title. It's a title holder tournament.
It's title holder tournament. So the title holder is Fujisawa Arena, and there's a knockout tournament to determine the challenger. And we're talking about the semi-final. One of the. Is this the semi-final? No, this is the quarterfinal.
This is the quarterfinals.
Quarterfinal. Yep.
Um. So, we're only looking at four. There are, so obviously, since it's quarterfinal, there would be four quarterfinals, but two of them have already been played. So these are the last two of the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And the four participants. So Asami is playing Suzuki Ayumi. So they're two players that we've covered several times in the past. Two of the strongest Japanese women players.
Mm-hmm.
That game I didn't look at very much. I believe that Asami won that one quite quickly.
Yeah.
The other game was between Risa and Nakamura Sumire. Now, Nakamura Sumire needs no introduction for those who listen to our podcast regularly, or for those who have any interest in Japanese Go, because Nakamura Sumire is one of the most popular players in Japan.
Yeah.
But Risa may be a little bit unfamiliar to people. Now, you may be wondering, is Risa related to Asami? And the answer is yes, they're sisters.
Yeah, they're sisters, yeah. They do
So
kind of look alike, yeah.
They also, they do look alike. Yeah, they're definitely sisters.
Yeah.
And I must say that up until this game, I really just saw Risa as Asami's sister.
Right.
Right? Instead of Risa, the Go player.
Yeah. 100%.
Because whenever I see her like involvement and stuff, for instance, she was in that Pair Go exhibition a few months ago.
Right.
I always think in the back of my mind, is she just being picked for these things because she's Asami's sister?
Right.
But I have to say, this could be the first game of hers where I watched it, pretty much from start to end.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was impressed.
Right.
I was impressed by her play. So I do now see her as more than Asami's sister.
Yeah.
I will say though, she did lose this game.
Yeah.
But she played well.
Yeah.
Did you have the opportunity to look at? Do you have the key for available?
Yes. If you want to bring up.
I don't want to go over any. There's just one.
Yeah.
Point, but again, I'm a Q level player. My analysis is poor, but Risa was white.
Yeah.
And I think that she essentially put her white stones in a lot of. She put her stones in a lot of places, and she handled her groups really well, I would say.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is I felt that see that white group on the left that sort of stretches from top to bottom.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have two eyes, does it?
No. Well, there's one eye for, but we have to win the code.
Well, that's not necessarily an eye either, is it?
That's you have to win a code, and maybe
you have to win a co.
Yeah, and maybe
I was really impressed by the fact that she because they didn't settle that group for a long time. Both players played elsewhere.
Yeah.
And the AI said that was fine, and I have to say that's very impressive. To despite the fact that your groups aren't completely alive,
Yeah.
the but the issue, unfortunately, what undid Risa in the end was this group.
Right.
If we get to about um, oh yeah, so yeah, I think move 175.
Right.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
is when Nakamura Sumire, made her sort of final attack
Yeah.
on the white group. So
Yeah.
white has to do something
Mm.
for to make sure that her massive group on the left lives, right?
Yeah.
So then you play through the moves and you see that there's a ko. She starts a ko.
Yeah.
So there's another ko here.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they play through some ko threats
Yeah.
up until move 190,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And at this
Atari.
point,
Yeah.
Black, who is Nakamura Sumire,
Yeah.
ignores this threat
Yeah.
and fills in the ko. So
Oh.
now this group on the white can live, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but
That's
the
a
the
trick.
issue
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
the issue now is the group in the middle.
Ah.
Yeah, kick. Yeah,
This one.
kick. Yeah, played the next two moves. So now White's left group is completely alive, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. So now Nakamura Sumire obviously saw that, but she felt that filling in this ko would put some pressure on on
This
the
one group.
bottom middle group.
Yeah.
Now and essentially this is actually pretty much if you stop at move 195,
Yeah.
this is more or less now a life and death problem.
Yes.
Um, and according to the AI, I think there was only one move that worked here, and
Oh.
that's the wedge.
Yes. Oh, nice.
Not that wedge. No, not that wedge.
Oh, this one.
Sorry, that wedge.
This one.
Yes.
Seriously. So you can
Yep.
get a Sente Atari. Okay, it's a wedge, right?
I get. Look, I don't know how it works, but
Yeah.
I think the yeah it I you yeah I
Yeah.
don't really know exactly how it works.
I
I'm just saying what AI says.
yeah.
But
If I honestly, if you give me this life and death problem, I'll be like, I literally could be spending hours on this
yeah,
and not
no,
get the right answer. You know?
no, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. Yeah, I imagine that this was
Yeah.
a very difficult position. This is a very difficult position to read out, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not saying that Reese is a bad player for missing this move. I'm just saying this was the move that the
Right.
position that eventually did her in.
Yeah. All right.
Um, and yeah, apparently that move doesn't work.
All right.
The move that she did play, which is another wedge. I guess it was the wrong wedge.
Yeah. It's the wrong end of the wedge.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
Oh.
this white group doesn't live. Yeah, really, really good attack by Nakamura Sumire.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, I got to give credit. I give credit to both players. I think that they both played. This is a very good. This was a very good game.
Yeah. So
Um,
that's interesting.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so Nakamura Sumire, survives to fight another day.
Yeah.
But yeah, once again, credit to Risa, Risa. Sorry.
Yeah.
She made the quarterfinals of the women's Honinbo, which is a good achievement, and her quarterfinal game was a good quality game.
Yeah.
I think this is like her best achievement so far in her very very early career.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan now. I'm a fan of
Fan.
Risa.
Awesome. Yeah.
And yeah. I think that I don't think she's got the talent of Asami. I
Right.
wouldn't go that far,
Yeah.
but she definitely has potential.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's like a contender in something like the women's Kisei
Right. Yeah.
or something like that in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might see her.
Yeah.
challenge some titles at some point in her career. But in the end, Nakamura Sumire, deserved winner, and she will play Risa's sister, Asami, in the semi-final.
Yes, revenge could be in the family, from the family.
And I do want to say
Yeah.
just quickly
Yeah.
that's one half of the draw.
Yeah.
As we said, that's one of the semi-finals. The other semi-final was actually played yesterday,
Right.
and it was between Yoshida Mika 8 Dan from
Yeah.
Kansai Kiin
Yeah.
and Chi Kato.
Yeah.
Kato Chi.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we've ever mentioned Kato Chi or
Probably, maybe not on the podcast, but maybe definitely on Pro Weiqi.
yes, we've definitely mentioned her in Pro Weiqi, but
Yeah.
she is she does stand out because she has a physical disability.
Yes.
I don't think she can't she has to use a wheelchair.
Right. Right. I think what she has is it's colloquially referred to as the brittle bone disease.
Brittle bone disease.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But I don't know the medical name for it. That I just don't know. But yeah, I think that's what it's there.
No, she does have brittle bone disease.
Yeah.
Osteogenesis imperfecta.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, which is just it's not a good thing to have.
Yeah.
I do feel for her.
Yeah.
It's not something that I would enjoy having, but
Yeah.
she is a good Go player. She did make the women's Meijin League, not this year but last year.
Yeah.
That's when I first noticed her,
Yeah.
and now she's in the. She actually won. She actually won against Yoshida Mika in the semi-final
Yeah.
of this women's Honinbo. So she's in the final.
Nice.
So whoever wins between Asami and Nakamura Sumire,
Yep.
they will play Kato Chi in the women's Honinbo Challengers final.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, so Kato definitely is one of the top ranked, women players in Japan. So
yeah, she doesn't win. She's not the most consistent player.
no.
But she is capable of getting good results. As I said, she did make the Meijin League.
Yep.
And now she's made this.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely capable of getting good results every now and then.
Yeah.
And you can't help but cheer for her.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, I certainly find it very easy to cheer for her, and I hope she does well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when the other women's semi-final is. I don't think it's been scheduled.
Right.
But when it does, hopefully they live stream it. I'd love it if they live streamed it.
Yeah.
But if not, there'll almost certainly be a live Kifu.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So we'll report on it when it happens.
Yeah. Awesome. Now, I don't want to go before we mention another women's tournament, which I think is very important to talk about.
Yes, I think this we have to mention this women's tournament because it starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or by the time you listen to this podcast, it probably would have already started.
Yes. So it's the 5th Qingyuan Cup, or Qingyuan is of course Goseigen. Yeah, the name Goseigen's Chinese name. And it starts tomorrow, and there's a little bit of a surprise or hiccup, as you say, for the tournament before it even started.
Why is that? Well, can we at least preface this tournament? Can I give a brief preface for this tournament? So the Qingyuan Cup is a women's international major.
Yep.
It's one of the biggest majors, along with the International Senko Cup.
Yep.
It features 24 of the strongest women players in the world. It's similar format to the LG Cup and Chunlen Cup. So 8 players get a bye. 16 players play in the first round. And then the round of 16, quarterfinal and semi-final are knockout games.
Yep.
And the final is best of 3.
Yep.
It features players from China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, as well as players from North America and Europe.
Yeah, and I think they've given Europe and America 2 spots each. So
That's correct. Every
yes.
every year Europe and North America get 2 spots.
Yep.
Taiwan gets 2 spots.
Yep.
Um, let me quickly check. China, I think China get 8 spots.
Yep.
It is a Chinese hosted tournament, by the way.
Yep. Yep. It's hosted in Fuzhou, and I believe actually while they're playing the women's tournament, there's an AI tournament as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it a women's AI tournament?
I doubt it. It might be a pure AI tournament, or one of the veteran players pair up with an AI to play. Something
Okay.
like
that. So actually Japan get 4 spots, Korea get 4 spots, China get 8 spots, and then the finalists from last year, they get a spot.
Very nice.
So Korea will have 5 players because Choi Jong is the defending champion, and China will have 9 players because Yu Zhiying was runner-up last year.
Yep. Okay, so of course, we've posted the lineup for the Wu Qingyuan Cup before, because the tournament was meant to happen earlier, but it was postponed till tomorrow. And Fujisawa Arena was one of the Japanese players scheduled to take part, but unfortunately, she tweeted that she has a bit of a fever, and I can't read Japanese, but I think it says she's got COVID, basically. What that means is So I think it means that she can't actually enter the Nihon King building, from which this competition kind of takes part. And I think it says in her tweet that her Honinbo final prelim is also postponed. I mean, obviously I can't read Japanese. I can only read some of the kanji, but I think that's what it says. So what that means is Fujisawa Arena unfortunately have to miss out on the Wu Qingyuan Cup. So instead of forfeiting her game, I believe what they have done is they allowed a replacement for Nihon Kiin, and they have chosen New Echo, who was recently the winner of the what was the tournament that she won?
The Japanese Senko Cup.
Senko Cup, yes. And so New Echo replaced Fujisawa Arena, but I think Fujisawa Arena was meant to be seeded into the second round, because how it works is, of course, you have 24 players, 16 players play each other, one get eliminated, and then the winners of the first round join the 8th seed from the second round. So Fujisawa Arena was meant to be one of the seeds, but now that she's no longer participating, I believe her spot went to Ueno Asami. And then
her seed.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe New Echo just made her replacement will play in the first round instead. And the draw just happened just a few hours ago, not that long ago. So this is some pictures from the draw. This is Wu Qingyuan. Who is this? I don't recognize, actually.
Wait, did you just say that's Wu Qingyuan?
That's Rui Naiwei.
Yeah, Rui Naiwei, yeah.
Yeah, I was reading the cup, which is Wu Qingyuan Cup. Apologies.
Okay.
I don't recognize this person.
That looks like Gao Jing, to be honest.
No, it's not her. She's Gao Jing is extremely thin. Let's put it this way. That's Zhou Hongyu.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Wu Yiming. This might be Li Xiaoxi, I believe.
Isn't that not Wang Yubo? It could be Li Xiaoxi.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. And of course, the draw came out, and let's go over the draw quickly.
Yeah.
And of course, the pick of the round for me, and probably for everyone in the world, is Zhou Hongyu versus Kim Beomseo.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty crazy that they're both in the first round.
Yeah.
Zhou Hongyu's probably in the first round because she got a wild card.
Yeah, she didn't even make it initially.
Didn't make it. Mind you, Lu Mingchuan didn't make it either.
Right.
But yeah, no, Zhou Hongyu, Kim Beomseo. Zhou Hongyu, number 2 woman in China versus Kim Beomseo, number 4 woman in Korea.
Yeah.
Both of them under 20.
Yeah.
Um, Zhou Hongyu, you have to say is the favorite, but
Yeah.
this is a this is a good test for Kim Yun-ji. Is this Kim Yun-ji? No, this isn't Kim Yun-ji's first international game. It may be her first game in an individual
Right.
international. I'm
Right.
not sure.
Right. Yeah.
I don't recall her playing in an international apart
Yeah.
from that under 20 team event.
Right. Right. I mean, obviously, Kim Yoon-ji was suspended last year, so she couldn't do
Yeah,
anything.
so and I
Must
don't think she played in any international games before she got suspended. So
correct. Correct. So it must be her first game. So
yeah,
yeah.
and what a I mean what a first round opponent, Zhou
Yeah.
Hongyu.
Yeah.
I would say I'd be surprised if Kim Yun-ji wins this, but
Yeah.
it's definitely the game of the round.
Yeah. And then another one is Wu Yiming versus New Aiko.
Yeah, based on the New Echo, I mean she's in good form,
Good form. Yep.
but Wu Yiming, I mean based on her Hoban Cup performances,
Yeah. You would pick her, I guess.
pick you'd have to pick her. Yeah.
And then you got Li Xiaoxi versus Nakamura Sumire.
Yeah, I know nothing about Li Xiaoji.
No. Yeah.
This one's hard to pick because Chinese players, even the ones I don't know anything about,
Yeah.
they always seem to be capable of beating anyone. It
Well,
seems.
just think about this. To even qualify for this tournament, she has to beat a very tough field probably.
Yeah.
To
Again,
even make it. Yeah.
this I would just based on the fact that I know her and
Yeah.
she is good. Nakamura. I pick
Yeah.
Nakamura.
All right. And then we got Rina Wei versus Hei Jia Jiao, otherwise known as Joanne Missingham.
Yeah, Joanne Messingen. Look,
Local.
Rui Nawe is a legend.
Yeah.
She's still a legend.
Yeah.
I can't see her losing to Hey Jar Jar.
Yeah.
I don't even know how often Hey Jar Jar plays.
Yeah. She does appear a lot on YouTube videos, like for
I
Taiwan
actually
stream.
haven't seen her play since the. I'm not sure if I've seen her play since the last Wu Qingyuan Cup when she lost to Cho Shong-ah.
Right. Yeah.
Um, I, I don't think she's ever beaten Rui Nawe, actually.
Doubt it.
Yeah, Rui Nawe is a legend and she's
Yeah.
still a good player. I have to pick Rui Nawe.
Yeah. Okay. So then you got your Stephanie Yin, otherwise known as Yin Min Min versus Cho Seong Ah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You mean she doesn't play very much.
Yeah.
She also, I think she's recently she's a mum.
Yeah.
Of course, she's married to Ryan Lee,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she plays all that much.
And she
so
might be a bit far away from the pro scene because she lives in New York, doesn't she?
she does live in New York,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I mean, she obviously is still involved in Go. I think she's a full-time
Yeah.
employee of like New York Institute of Go.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
obviously she focuses a lot on Go. But I don't think she gets much competitive
Yeah.
experience anymore.
Yeah.
Cho Shong-ah,
Yeah.
number 5 in Korea.
Yeah. So
I'd be shocked if
Yeah.
Cho Shong-ah lost this.
yeah. So we got Wang Yubo versus Lu Yuhua. I love meeting Lu Yuhua again. She's a Taiwan rep for the game. Of course, she made the final of the Senko Cup.
Yeah,
So-
final of the Senko Cup, and just based on that, I'm going to pick Lu Yuhua.
Right.
Wang Yubo, I've heard of her before. I think she plays in the women's Jia League.
Right. Yeah.
I think is she top 10 in China women? China?
Probably, but I really can't count.
She might be there or thereabouts, but
Yeah.
but Lu Yuhua just really good performance in the Senko Cup. I'd say it's probably 70-30 to Lu Yuhua. So I'm going to pick Lu Yuhua.
Yeah. All right. And then you got Feng Yun, one of the rare female nine dans. In fact, actually, both women's nine dan from China are in this tournament.
I mean, Feng Yun is one of the forgotten women nine dans. I think when people think of women nine dans, they often forget about Feng Yun.
Yeah.
But she was actually the second ever women's nine dan, and she got it in China, which is like
Not easy. Let's put it this way.
not easy at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, just like Stephanie Yin,
Yeah.
she doesn't play much
Yeah.
nowadays,
Yeah.
but she's still a legend.
Yeah.
She's still an absolute legend, and Dina Budakova, I don't know anything about her, but
Yeah,
I don't think she's going to beat Fen Yun.
yeah, yeah. And then we have Suzuki Ayumi versus Virginia Shalneva.
Yeah, look, again, I know even less about Virginia
Yeah,
Shalneva. I literally had trouble even finding her on Google.
right. Yeah,
Um, Suzuki Ayumi's going to win that.
yeah. So I guess I don't know if I should say this, but I do feel that giving Europe two spots is a bit too much. But hey, maybe just one spot. But anyway, okay. By the way, this is Wang Yubo.
I would say give Europe two spots, but make it 32 players.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Just even it out. That's of course Wu Yiming.
What do you mean?
That's Li Xiaoxi. So I think I was right. That's Li
Yeah,
Xiaoxi.
yeah.
Um, that's of course Suzuki Yumi,
What do you mean?
Ueno Asami.
Interesting here that you've got Yuno Asami when she's not even playing in the first round.
Right. You know, I actually didn't make these pictures, so I just took them from somewhere. So
Okay.
probably did the personal. That's Cho Seong Ah, of
No
course.
Shanga,
Of course, that's Sumire. Just
of
just
course,
just
Mira.
in case you didn't know. Kim
Okay, I
Yunji.
just want to make it. I just want to point out something at this picture.
Yeah.
Okay, it says Kim Yoonji two dan.
Yeah.
Just a correction. Kim Yoonji is actually three dan.
Very
She was
nice.
promoted. She was promoted in April.
Yeah.
So this picture is out of date.
Yeah. It's probably.
The
But
caption.
yeah, the caption were probably this post appeared about 5 days ago. So yeah, they probably just the guy who made it probably just didn't
Well,
do a
I
good
will
job.
say she's been three dan for 3 months.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's so these are the two Taiwanese players here, Hei Jiajia and
Louis
Lu
Hua.
Yuhua.
Um.
I will say I am surprised that Hei Jiajia was given a wild card. She didn't
Yeah.
even seem to enter the qualifiers.
Yeah. Maybe.
To me, if you don't enter the qualifiers, you shouldn't be given a wild card
Yeah.
because what's the point of having the qualifiers in the first place?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a bit of a tough one. Maybe it's just for publicity reasons because Hey Jaja probably for many.
Oh, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't. I don't think it wasn't the Taiwanese Association that gave out the wild cards.
No.
It was the organizers, right?
Yes.
So
Correct. Now the competition is it's partly sponsored by the Fuzhou government. So Fuzhou is a major city in the province of Fujian. So if you look at the geographical location of Fujian, it's actually right next to Taiwan. So very very close. Um,
mm.
so and Hei Jia I believe does play in the women's Jia League for Fujian.
Oh, she does play in the women's Jia League. That's
So
right.
maybe like two reasons
Yeah. So my mistake.
proximity.
She has played since the last
Yeah,
Wu Chengwan Cup. Yes, of course.
yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe just like proximity, and also the fact that she
Yeah.
actually plays for the local team, and also she's a bit of a celebrity.
Oh,
And
she's
yeah,
very much a celebrity. Yes, but she's sort of semi-retired almost.
yeah. I mean, I see her more on YouTube videos of popular Taiwanese YouTubers than see her play. Let's put it this way. Um, okay, and that's the one of the Europe's reps. Dina,
I just want to say,
yeah,
by the way, that Dina Burdakova is actually Russian,
right,
so she may have been selected just before
right,
the EGF suspended Russian players,
right, yeah, okay,
and
yeah,
I think Virginia Shalneva. I think she may also be Russian.
right.
I'm
So
not sure. Yeah.
so it says five dan here, but I believe this is EG European five dan.
She's an amateur, by the way.
Yeah, this is amateur dance. So it's EGF five dan. So that would put her as a very very strong amateur, but probably not pro level.
No, not pro level.
Yeah. So
No.
so this is it's free dan. The European is free dan. So that would still be stronger than me, but probably nowhere near pro. So
No, no,
it's a bit of a
no.
yeah,
They're not pro
yeah.
level players. Yeah.
I do
The thing is though that
yeah,
Korea, Japan, and China they all have separate qualifying
right,
routes for women.
yeah,
So women like qualify against other women.
yeah,
Um, yeah, like turn pro against other women.
yeah,
Europe doesn't have that yet.
right, yeah,
They don't have a women's only sort of qualification
right,
procedure.
yeah,
So, like for those players to turn pro, they would have to, enter the open European Pro qualifiers. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Of course, that's
that's Fen
Fen
Yung,
Yun, Nine Dan.
Fen Yun.
That's
Sorry,
Stephanie Yin. So
she
that's
looks a
it.
little bit like in that photo. She looks a little bit like Kim Do Young,
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Korean player,
Right.
a
Yeah.
little bit. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Stephanie Yin.
Yeah.
They, Feng Yun and Stephanie Yin have played. I think they've played in every Wu Qingyuan Cup.
Possibly and they. I mean, there probably aren't that many strong players from
Yeah,
that
I think
region.
they've played in every one.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So that's it. That's looking forward to that. And let's move to the calendar and go through the calendar for next week and call it a wrap.
Yeah,
So what have we got?
my goodness, this has been a long podcast.
It's a Jia League. It's a Jia League. It's Jia League's
Yeah,
happened.
we had to
Um.
cover the Jar League.
Yeah. So
Okay,
and
yeah.
so what's happening?
European Championships will be finishing on Sunday. Nice.
Nice. And then we got of course, the Gosei Cup, which is Wuchingen Cup. I don't know
Yeah,
what this is. Presidential Cup final.
that's a very very minor Korean
Right.
event, but it's the final. So I put the final in the calendar.
Yep.
Um,
Very nice.
yeah. What else yeah, so the Go Seigen Cup is the big one.
Yeah.
And the Jar League.
Yeah. And then the Myungin and the IBK Cup final game
The
2.
IBK Cup final, of course.
Yeah. And Jia League
Uh,
big
yeah.
for
Yeah,
4 days.
there's only the one Myunjin game.
Yep.
Um yeah.
And that's it. That rounds out the week. Awesome.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Gaza.
No
It's
worries.
it's always good to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for everyone who listened to this podcast. It's been a long one, this one.
Yep. And you know what? Let's call it a day, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see ya.
All right. Thanks.